Yo, 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 what up? Welcome back to another excellent, fun edition of Eric's Magic the Gathering pre-FNM Friday stream. Welcome all, welcome all. Come ye, come ye. Got a fun show for us today. Us being you and me, because I'm excited to play some Sultai Deserts today, folks. Threw up my weekly poll, and the people, by a pretty overwhelming majority, or plurality at the very least, wanted to see some Sultai Deserts, and let me tell you, couldn't be more excited about that. It's my favorite list right now. It's what I plan on playing at FNM tonight, and it's a whole heck of a lot of fun, I think. Whole heck of a lot of fun. I think, as for today's list, I'm gonna be running pretty similar to what I ran in the previous Sultai Deserts list video. I don't think, PJB, thank you for stopping by, appreciate you. I don't think there's a whole lot of changes to be made. I think this is a pretty good list for a broad meta, being the Esper Origins sort of variety, Esper Origins based list. Mr. Lucky, appreciate you stopping by. Where we have 3 Esper Origins in the main, 1 Winter Night Stories, a little bit of graveyard stuff going on, extra value to be able to possibly surveil into in our conduit pylons, off of our conduit pylons. But also, I think Esper Origins in general is just a pretty solid card. The life gain is pretty relevant in aggro matchups. It's a decent blocker. It's a good value piece in grindier matchups for sure. Pretty well-known quantity. I've actually really been enjoying the Bonnie Pauls in the top end as well. Basically, generally speaking, board wipes aren't very good against us, and Bonnie Paul is a very, very solid base 2-for-1 that threatens to snowball the game out of control. So I've been enjoying Bonnie Paul in the top end for sure. 26 lands. One thing I've been thinking about is Ugin, and I wanted today try a Glenalendra's Answer in the sideboard as a sort of way to catch Ugin and its trigger, just as a one of. It's pretty good into lessons as well. We'll just bring it in over a Disdainful Stroke. Jay Say there, what up, brother? Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you stopping by, folks. So yeah, we're playing Sultai Deserts today, bringing this into a traditional standard event. I think this is the list. I'm pretty happy with this. The 3 Restless Cottages. Any fun of one of suggestions from the chat? Where's the Naya Deserts? Dude, that run was fucking cursed. I swear to God. That was one of probably my all-time worst day of recording so far. All-time worst day of recording. It left a real mental scar on me for sure. I can't remember the last time I posted a video where I just lost all the matches, but I can't remember the last time I threw away a video where I lost all the matches. It was freaking rough, dude. It was freaking rough. Yeah, not my best look, but we're back on tried and true Sultai Deserts. Hopefully I can show off some of the desert's power today. Represent, remind me that not all desert lists are made equal. Let's go ahead and hop into the event here, get kicked off. So first off, for the first half of the stream, we'll be running this traditional standard event. And for the second half, we have a viewer list that I'll be bringing into some ranked matches on the ladder. Subscriber Fuzzy Cow donated to see their Gruul Biotech list played on stream. So we have that, and then I've done some iterating on it and explored some different ideas to show off with that as well. So that should take up the whole stream, finish up this traditional event, and then hopefully it doesn't take us 2 hours, but it might, and then with the remaining hour, explore that Gruul Biotech list. But as for now, let's hop in. A little Sultai Deserts action. The meta, I don't know if you guys have felt this, but the meta it is in the weirdest place that it's ever been, perhaps in my Magic Arena career. It's so unpredictable what I'm going to run into, which is good. I think it's mostly good, but it makes playing these mid-range piles so much harder, because we're so dependent on having the right answers for what's going on that it's just like one matchup is it prowess, the other matchup it's Abzan Kona reanimator with Yunas, and then Ugins in the next matchup, and then back to go wide aggro, and it's just like so all over the place that I've been really having a tough time lately. But tried and true Sultai Deserts, it seems to have the sauce at the very least to compete in a more open meta where we are less synergy reliant, and our answers are pretty broad. Packing the Maelstrom Pulses and packing the I feel like Deadly Cover Up is like good beyond just go wide matchups. Just being able to answer our opponent's threats like forever has been pretty nice. So hopefully we'll be able to show that off a bit today. Opening up the floor to anyone out there. Jay Sather says, I think people have given up on Standard until Secrets of Strixhaven releases. So there are two groups, people just playing top decks and people playing jank just to feel something on the inside. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's part of it. I am excited. I'm super excited for Secrets of Strixhaven. It'll be nice to have the palette cleanser from the TMNT release. A lot of cool cards. I've spoken about it in some previous videos, but a lot of good fuel for the Golgari-based deserts lists, I think. Getting a lot of cool mid-range pieces, including a nice board wipe. I think that 4-mana, like, pay X life, it's kind of like the Toxic Deluge, but in Golgari that also hits artifacts, interestingly enough. I think that'll be a pretty big piece for the list. It also actually kind of makes you want to almost play Abzan Deserts for that reason, like, because you'd get access to Get Lost to be able to, like, manage enchantments, and then you have this board wipe that hits artifacts. You kind of have all of your bases covered. Also with the addition of that, like, one white instant removal piece, I think that I think Abzan Deserts could be an interesting direction to go as well. Starting out here on the draw, hit the mulligan button twice. No lands in either of our openers. Okay. Let's put back a Pylons. Let's put back a Winter Night Stories, I think. I understand that going down to 5 and putting back your card advantage is maybe not that ideal, but I think I'd also rather just not die to my opponent's, like, Saz's Chocobo right off the bat here. I think this is okay. Opponent leads on a swamp. We draw into a Day of Black Sun. Devin Fuller says 7 sets a year is a lot, but honestly it would suck to have to wait another couple months to get some new cards in Standard. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is just like a lot of... it's a lot of... oh, boy. I mean, the meta just moves so quickly. It is basically, you know, with all these cards in one spot, in one format, jam-packed, it you know, really devolves into a very high power level format. And who knows what's going to come along in Secrets of Strixhaven to really upend the whole thing. Jay Sather says, also, I can see a lot of competitive players moving over to MTGO to play Modern for the upcoming season, and less standard competitive players on Arena now. That's also a good consideration. I'm actually really excited to play some Modern here. I just finished acquiring all of my Agatha's Soul Cauldrons. I know, the boogeyman of Standard 6 months ago or however long. But to play it in Modern, not in Golgari Yawgmoth or Abzan Yawgmoth or anything like that, but I really like the looks of that Bant Energy or Green-White Energy list that plays Birthing Ritual and Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and is essentially trying to combo off with like the new Leonardo, or we'll leave a Greenblade on top, or Aerith with Walking Ballista. So I'm excited to have all the cards for that. Start attending my weekly Modern nights again. Pierre stopping by, just sending some love for the effort on the Gitrog video. Appreciate you, Pierre. Appreciate you stopping by. I'll give you a little bit of inside baseball, too. Whoa, Marauding Blight Priest. Okay, so they are threatening to just kill me here. pretty soon. They actually need to be able to connect with me to kill me if they have the 5 mana like vampire combo piece in hand. Bloodthirsty Conqueror is the name of that card. So they need to be able to actually hit me to get their combo going. And eventually I might actually be able to remove all of their Bloodthirsty Conquerors from their deck. Could take them away from the ability to actually win. They Strategic Betrayal me, which is a little rough. Currently no answers to this. Need to draw an untapped land. We do draw an untapped land. Let's just hit them with the Day of Black Sun here. We're still in it. Pierre, a little insider information for you. I went to record another Gitrog mounts video. I'll add to the lore. I went to record another Gitrog video. I played Desert Mounts, and it was really bad. It was really bad. It was so bad that I have the video like uploaded onto my YouTube. But I'm not gonna release it. I'm not gonna release the lost tapes of the Gitrog Mounts video. It's just it's gonna be lost to time until I have like a really desperate, like I need to upload something sort of position. So it's let's just leave it at that. It was a cursed run. You guys thought the like 05 Naya Deserts run was cursed. I'm talking like I actually won a match with Gitrog with the Desert Mounts build, but it was way more cursed. They have the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. We get to go ahead and whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. So I can't lose life. If I pay for my Bitter Triumph here, I just die. So I have to discard a card to Bitter Triumph this Bloodthirsty Conqueror. But in discarding this Day of Black Sun, I get to collect evidence to deadly cover up all of the Conquerors out of their deck. No, Pierre, it's not. I'm not trying to rag on Gitrog. The Gitrog was probably the best card in the deck. Everything else around it was just so poorly positioned for the meta. It was a trip. It was a trip. The tapes will be lost to time. Let's just put it that way. Get the Conquerors out of their deck. Villainous Wrath. Okay, we get to take a little peek-see. Liliana Dreadhorde General. We can manage that. Not super thrilled to see that. Enduring Tenacity. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Whenever you gain life, blah, blah, blah. I mean, these are all just combo pieces with the Conqueror, right? Slashers, Laughing Jasper Flint. A single Furdot Core. Pretty weird list. Hired Claws and Magebane Lizards. What am I playing against? Hit me with your other weird brew ideas, Pierre. Hit me. What you got? So our opponent has to hit a land drop to be able to get this Liliana on the field. Okay. Unstoppable Slasher on the field. Not ideal. I guess I just hit them, right? If they want to block with the Slasher, that buys me a little bit of time. Is that crazy? I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Buys me a little bit of time. I don't think it super matters what I exile there. They just take it. They take it on the chin. Hit them with the Soured Springs. Pass it back. Depot asks, what cards are piquing your interest most in Strixhaven? I'm really excited for the Golgari Planeswalker. I don't remember the name. There are actually a bunch of Golgari cards I'm excited for. I don't think I would have told you like a year ago that I was a Golgari guy, but playing all the Desert's Brews has changed my position on that, I think. They swing in. I think I'm kind of toast. Top decking back-to-back-to-back lands, a little rough. They're going to be able to Chumperoonie here. Just swing at them. Exile a Blight Priest. Professor Delina Fell, says Jay Sather. Delian Fell, says Jay Sather. That guy. Yeah, I like the looks of that guy. I also like the looks of the board wipe in the Golgari colors. I like the looks of the charm for deserts specifically. Outside of that, like from a non-deserts perspective, I don't know. I actually haven't really looked at the cards too much, thinking like, what if I don't put these in a desert stack? Maybe there's like a life gain sort of mid-range control shell with that new 3-mana board wipe. I think that card's pretty interesting. Maybe a reason to play like the life gain lands. I think that's kind of an exciting prospect. Go ahead and crack a food here. Draw into another land. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just do this forever. What is this? Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. Oh, so it just kills all my lands? That's kind of rough. Gotta draw like a Bitter Triumph here. I need a lot of help, basically. Someone in a Discord I'm in wants to run an Orzhov life gain / bats list. Looks pretty good, TBH. Yeah, actually, so one other card I'm really excited about, speaking of life gain bats, there's that new, like, legendary 3-mana pest guy that says, like, it's a 3/3 or a 4/3 that says whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on each pest, snake, bat, rat, lizard, something, spider, insect, some string of interesting, like, tribal creatures that actually honestly just looks like a really, really good, like, Abzan bats card. You know, if you go like turn 2 Deep Cavern Bat, play that pest guy on turn 3, and then start hitting your opponent, gaining life with the life link. Seems pretty sweet. Yeah, Black Loafing Pest. Yeah, I love the pest guy. It looks pretty sweet. Well, kind of a rough start for us here. Had to mold a 5. Don't feel too bad about it. I think we can definitely win this matchup here. Let's bring in a little bit of graveyard hate. I don't think we need quite so many Requiting Hexes, although it seems like they have a little bit of early game action. Day of Black Sun looks pretty good into their Unstoppable Slashers, along with our Deadly Cover-Ups. That all seems pretty good. Bring in the Deceit. Kind of want a little bit of everything here. Planetarium of Wanchitong is a bit interesting because they're not going to be able to answer it. But they're pretty unlikely to be able to answer it. Okay, maybe we don't want the Ceases then. Let's go down the Desert Stews. Bitter Triumph hits Liliana. Let's go up an Oko, maybe? Just to give us a little more variety in our threats. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Maybe Maelstrom Pulse isn't that good here. It does hit a variety of things, but I think I need to prioritize keeping in a little more instant speed removal, maybe. Let's go up the Desert Stew, just to be able to interact with the Bloodthirsty Conqueror on their turn a little better. There's also maybe an argument for the Disdainful Strokes, though. Yeah, maybe that's a little better, actually. Sort of a catch-all. Hits the Lilianas before it can hit the field. Let's go up both of the Disdainful Strokes, actually. Down a Winter Night Stories. They're on Strategic Betrayals, so maybe we actually consider cutting the Esper Origins, too. Bring in another Oko. All right, run it like this. The longest time spent sideboarding ever, but we have definitely changed cards in our deck. We have definitely changed cards in our deck. On the play here. I love it. Snap Keep. Snap Keep every time. It's in the Lord's hands now. Tell me, are you a Christian, son? I said no, ma'am, but I am tonight. Or whatever. Turn 2 Pylons. We draw a Green Blade, which is pretty big for us. Esper Origins in the graveyard. Bitter Triumph on top. It's all lining up. It's all lining up. I think I'm going to go for... Okay, I think I'm going to go for Bitter Triumph on turn 2. Or sorry, turn 3 here. So that I can just start running out these Esper Origins. Because if I play the Green Blade and they have a Strategic Betrayal, I'm like super blown out by that. Let's force them to make a decision early on here. Go for another Cottage. Pass it back. See what they're rocking. Laughing Jasper Flint. Yeah, I don't think I can let that exist, right? Let's just discard a card here. Keep my life total high. I could do it post-combat. Doesn't really matter. Does not really matter. Hits me for 4. Drawn to a Bonnie Paul. Nice. Restless Cottage on top. Let's just throw that in the graveyard. Go for an Esper Origins. Planetarium of Wanchitong with Lessons from Life on top. I mean, I like both of these things. At a certain point, we need to consider the possibility of, like, them actually just curving into the combo. Is kind of a concern immediately, actually, with the Starscape Cleric on the field. Maybe I needed to think about passing on the Lessons from Life here. Depot asks, what is your win rate with Sultai Deserts? Lifetime? I don't know. Probably somewhere a little above 50%, if I had to guess. I don't know. Probably slightly above average. Let's just maybe frame it that way. I feel like pretty confident saying that. Do I draw into this Lush Oasis? No, I'm going to keep digging, because I think I need to draw into an answer, like some kind of instant speed removal. Otherwise, I'm just crossing my fingers. Oh, there's a Deadly cover-up. That's pretty good. I'm just crossing my fingers that they don't untap and kill me right here. You know what I mean? Certainly a possibility. Swamp? Do you have the Bloodthirsty Conqueror? Question mark? Strategic Betrayal. Depot asks, you ever think of using Untapped to track your win-loss data? It's a good idea. I'm sure a better player would. I don't know that I care that much, to be honest with you. Is that a good response? I don't know. I'm more of a feel player than anything. I have to wipe the board here. I have to keep them from killing me with the combo next turn. Kind of in a fine spot. 9 life. I guess it would be nicer to have hard data to support, like, you know, better ability to reach conclusions about the power of a deck, any given strategy or what have you. But at the same time, I don't know, it's just like, at the end of the day, I like Magic as a fun thing to be doing, and I do take it somewhat seriously. I like to win, obviously, but by the same token, Bloodthirsty Conqueror on the field, we dodged it for a turn. Swinging in with the Tenacity, perhaps. Yeah, we go off vibes here. Is basically what I'm trying to get at. Kill off the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. What up, Turgobbler? We're playing, welcome everyone. We're playing Sultai Deserts in a traditional standard event. The people voted. The people love it. I love it. I'm excited to be on a little Sultai Deserts action here. Oko the Ringleader. Let's start jamming with Bonnie. Get some extra draws going here. I don't think we can lose from this position outright. We have a reach blocker. Swinging in with the Green Blade. They don't have a way to start their combo off, really. Feeling pretty good. Data is kind of the opposite of fun, though. It would be good to... It would make me a better player, probably. But it's just one more layer of friction when all I really want to be doing is, like, playing Magic, you know what I mean? Sacrifice 2 creatures. RIP in peace. Let's go ahead and swing at Liliana here. Draw another card. Put a land into play. I don't really have a good way to hold up instant speed interaction for their combo. They're like one land away from play a land, play a Bloodthirsty Conqueror, and then sack the Momentum Breaker, right? Maybe I actually just... Is it crazy to, like, Deadly Cover up here? Take all of the Conquerors out of their deck and, like, guarantee almost that I win this game? I don't think it's that crazy. I actually think it's kind of okay. I'm giving up my Bonnie in the process, but this takes away the potential of them actually just outright killing me from nowhere. They have an Oyer Axonil in hand. A little awkward. I don't know what this is doing here, to be honest with you. Disdainful Stroke is our draw. We can get the Planetarium going here. Could also just play Oko and make an Elko. Hold up the Disdainful Stroke. Make an Elko means we get to chump the Axonil for a turn. I think I'm going to make an Elko. Hold up Hex, hold up the Disdainful Stroke. Kind of in this. Getting a little scary. I mean, the combo is no longer a worry, but I think we can start to fight back here for board position. Having to give up the, what up, Nacho? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Having to give up the Bonnie Paul was not a decision I made lightly, but I think it made sense. What's your play, brother? Swinging in. Yeah, I think I just chump, right? Oko will take one, survive. And then I get to get a little more info, maybe do a little draw discard with Oko. We get to do a crime first, which is nice. Probably go for the Planetarium this turn. Oh, I could just play an Armadillo. It does just kind of block everything. Discard. I mean, I also drew this Bitter Triumph. Maybe I just Bitter Triumph the Axonil. Transform this land. Activate only if red sources you control dealt 4 or more non-combat damage this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Actually, let's get rid of the Requiting Hex, huh? Let's go for the Bitter Triumph. Pass it back to him. And I'd say we're in a pretty winning spot now. We have an answer to their next big threat. Pretty unlikely they'll be able to flip that Axonil back. And they can't combo off anymore. Also, Oko can become a copy of up to one target creature I control until end of turn. The fun thing about this Oko card, if I like, because it is already on the battlefield, essentially I can like start swinging in with hasty armadillos and whatever my big creatures are. Like if I just play the armadillo, Oko can immediately copy it and swing in, which is kind of sick. I think that is the play, especially after drawing an extra land drop here. Threatens to kill them over the course of a couple turns. Free Strider Lookout on top. Play our big-ass Armadillo. Make an Elk. E. O'Connor says, I was thinking about the difference between this deck and Jund Deserts. Maybe the natural development of non-Vine Lasher Deserts is that it becomes a control deck. I mean, I think I generally agree with that assessment, yeah. It's like, basically because we want the game to go long for our Outcaster Greenblades to be as effective as they can be. Like, it just becomes the best top deck when we have the card advantage to support, like, making multiple card plays. Like play an 8/9 Greenblade and hold up counter magic is sort of the best thing to be doing in this at the very least in a more like control-y, mid-rangey sort of strategy. Jund Deserts is a very like razor thin sort of margins style of play because it doesn't have any real card advantage. But being on the Vine Lashers gives you that sort of busted edge. Sometimes you just like chunk your opponent for 8 damage in a turn cycle in combination with the Free Strider Lookout. So definitely different styles of play. They deal with our Armadillo. Maybe it's time to get the Planetarium going. We could also just fire up the Restless Cottage, force them to block with the Hired Claw. We can fire up the Restless Cottage, force them to block with the Hired Claw, and hold up Sack the Food / Disdainful Stroke. One thing about Oko and its ability to like copy creatures, it can't activate its loyalty abilities once it becomes a creature. So you have to do this before combat if you're going to activate it. You can't like commit the crime with the Restless Cottage and then second main activate Oko if you plan on allowing its passive to resolve. So we'll just go for a draw 2, discard 2. Not really sure what I'm looking for, but I'll know it when I see it. Pretty happy to see a green blade, actually. I mean, maybe I just get rid of the Planetarium at this point. Who needs it? I have it as a one of. I haven't quite decided, Turd Gobbler. I haven't quite decided how I feel about it. We actually could just play the green blade here and copy that with Oko. That is also big enough to force a chump block, but we get a food out of the deal if I go this route. And I like the food. I like the food. Also, don't copy your Restless Cottage. Pretty sure it'll just be a land. Copy your Elk. I guess I don't force chumps because they have this momentum breaker. They can just gain some life, but I don't think there's a world in which they just take this to the chin, right? Pierre says, Planetarium is actually really fun in a built-around control deck with all the Surveil lands. Yeah, I think it threatens to be a pretty good value engine. I guess I actually get to play the Green Blade. Yeah, I think I played this turn wrong. If I had been a little more patient and counted my mana, I think I could have played the Green Blade first, gotten a Conduit Pylons, had the mana to kind of have everything going on here, and actually force the chump because the Oko would have been swinging for much more damage. They do go for the chump anyway, so not really punished for that. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up Food Sack and Disdainful Stroke in this position then. They sack the Momentum Breaker. They gain some life, make me lose some life, 3 damage. I guess I'll just respond to this by sacking a food here. Just to play it a little safe. I go to 6. What is your last card? Removal from my Elk. Okay. GG. On to game 3. I guess I don't even have to show them the Green Blade, right? Fire up the Cottage. Copy the Cottage for science. My Oko is a land. My Oko is a land. Help. My Oko's stuck in land mode. On to game 3. Pretty good runnings for us there. Okay, can we win game 4 against this list? I think so. Maybe up a couple Deserts Dew on the draw here, just to be able to manage like their more aggressive starts. Down the Disdainful Strokes, question mark. I think I'm down with that. Run it like that. I think I'm down with that. Run it like that. I think I'm running basically this list at F&M tonight. Currently, I think I maybe have 4 Esper Origins in my side or in my main board, but everything else is pretty much the same. Any other F&M gamers out there tonight? Anyone else going to their locals, or this week in general? Any recent successes? I 4-0'd last week with Sultai Deserts. My in-paper win rate is pretty decent. I think it always just helps that no one has any idea what the fuck I'm doing. You know, I try to show up with a different deck every week, mostly. Sometimes I'll play the same deck a couple weeks in a row, but not usually. I like to keep my my friends on their toes. Oko right into the Shadow Realm, says Elise Ellison. That's right. Jay Sather says, skipping my F&M this week to go to the pre-release next week. Is it already pre-release next week? No fucking way. Really? Holy shit. Let's go. Okay, I just got all excited. I'm going to maybe do one or two pre-releases. I skipped TMNT. Yeah. I did skip TMNT. But yeah, excited for a little SOS, a little main set standard, a little in-universe standard set. Loading into game 3. Maybe my opponent just left. That'd be kind of tight. I wouldn't mind that, a little free 1-0 start. I wouldn't mind that too much. Depot says, I wish they would slow down a little. I don't mind quick TMNT, though. A little, like, quick draft. Oh, like, we're only in TMNT standard for this long? Yeah, I think I agree with that. There have been some good cards from TMNT. Mechanically. I think mechanically, I'm not that put off by TMNT. Thematically, I don't care that, like, at all. And I don't know if it's been anyone else's perspective, but it seems to me most of the playable cards from TMNT, thankfully, have been like the less outright sort of like, we're Ninja Turtles cards, you know what I mean? Namely, I think Super Shredder sticks out to me as like, they could have made Super Shredder like in an in-universe set. And actually looking at the art, and even though I know it's from TMNT, it doesn't give off like dorky turtle vibes, you know. It's not pizza. It's still got that sort of like, I don't know. It is edgy. It is edgelord-y, but it's pretty cool. Super Shredder is pretty cool. I also like Mutagen Man. I like the non-turtle like TMNT, non-pizza TMNT stuff. Jay Sather says, problem is this is the last in-universe set until like September or whenever Reality Fracture drops. Really? Damn. Bjarkin asks, what are your F&Ms like? Mine rarely fire, and if they do, it's not many people. My standard F&Ms have consistently recently been at least 4 rounds with anywhere between 10 to 16 players, which is not bad. There was a time maybe 6 months ago or so. Oh, opponent fully concedes. Awesome. Fully concedes. Sweet. 1-0. Good data. But yeah, we fire every week. They're fun. They're not super competitive. They're competitive enough. Like, there are competitive players there for sure. It's just there's an unspoken code at F&M, at my F&M locals, that we don't play hardcore meta lists. I think all of the whole time that like Vivi Cauldron was in standard, no one showed up to F&M with Vivi Cauldron once. I think maybe one person showed up to a game day with it, but even though people are on like expensive decks, it's not like budget builds. It's people doing what they want to do, like Riddlers and stuff like that. A lot of mid-range piles, but no one playing like the obviously like egregiously busted combo stuff at my locals, which makes for a pretty fun environment. Lately, it's been a lot of control. Which I don't really actually mind at F&M, although we have been going to time pretty much every round lately. E. O'Connor says, I like going back to Strixhaven, but I'm seriously worried about Paradigm and Standard. And yeah, I'm curious to, echoing Depot's question, what's your main worry with Paradigm, Connor? Not being able to interact with it is kind of, you know, obviously that's what makes it strong, but at the same time, it doesn't seem that strong, question mark. At least none of the individual cards seem that strong. I think I'm going to put this one back. Simply too expensive, double Bonnies in hand. Let's take advantage of being on the play with a slightly nicer curve out here. Pretty good hand here. Let's skip on... Maybe we just skip on a piece of removal. I like the promise of eventually being able to cast this Lessons from Life. Skip on a Desert Stew here, maybe. See if we can, like, spike a turn 1 Hex into a... Mono White Cats! It wouldn't be a traditional Standard event if we didn't play against Mono White Cats. Maybe a little early to fire off this Requiting Hex. I just got so excited. Go for an Esper Origins. Yeah, let's skip on both of these. Skip on both of those. Maybe we should have kept the basic to guarantee a turn 4 Esper Origins, but... What am I playing against? They have an Ooze to exile my Esper Origins. Well, that's just rude. Draw into a Desert Stew. Conduit Pylons on top. We can do better. Bant Cats, question mark. Maybe Bant Cats. Bjarkin says, oh man, that sounds great. When it does fire, it's usually top meta lists. The store is usually packed, but it's all Commander. Yeah, a lot of Commander at my shop too. Probably 3 times the amount of Commander compared to Standard, but consistently firing, so not much more you can ask for. Not much more you can ask for. Opponent kind of popping off with the Ooze over here. Well, one more land when we get to cast this Lessons from Life by filtering through the Conduit Pylons. Healer's Hawk. I kind of like their little setup here. I'm impressed by the Ooze generally. I think it's a pretty easy one of to include in most like creature lists. I think it's pretty good. I am definitely going to kill this Hawk though. Let's see if I can make them go for another mutagen token on the Hawk first. No, they decide not to go for it. Okay. I'll try to kill it. See if you have something for 1 mana. What say you? Oh. I also forgot about that line of text with the Ooze. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it leaves the battlefield, create a mutagen token for each counter on it. So you kind of just get them back. That's pretty scary. Not gonna lie. Pretty scary. They have a Fountain Port to be able to start sacrificing these mutagens. Exemplar of Light seems really nice with the Ooze. Hey, folks. Maybe it's not Mono White Cats after all. Maybe my opponent's got something going on here. Kind of seems like my opponent's got a little something going on here. Drawn to a Lush Oasis. Okay. We're not out of the woods yet. Not out of the game yet. But facing down an Exemplar of Light, opponent drawing cards every turn. I'm more of a game 2 and 3 kind of guy anyway. Kind of seems like Bant Cats, perhaps. There's no green. People are saying Bant Cats, Celestia Surprise. It's just mono white, folks. It's mono white. Essence Channeler. Little life gain tilt with the Ooze. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Exiling something from my graveyard. I have no good way. I mean, just imagine, like, with that new Secrets of Strixhaven, like, the new board wipe, right? Being able to, like, kill all creatures here pretty easily for 4 mana and clean up the Ooze and all of its mutagen tokens. Something to look forward to. A nice sort of main deck catch-all board wipe. I guess I rip a Hex here, although... Yeah, I think I just rip a Hex here. Kill off a Chandler. Maybe it's worth waiting. Try to draw into just a board wipe. Cross our fingers. Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do the right thing and kill off this Exemplar of Light. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Deny them the future card advantage. By the same token, I could just draw into a board wipe, which would be a much cleaner answer. Okay, I'm gonna go for the lessons from life. Try to get ahead of the curve here. Keep hitting my land drops. We don't draw into any lands. We do draw into a Free Strider Lookout, though. Turd Gobbler says, Golgari is going to be getting a lot of new toys with Witherbloom. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Cha, dude. I'm really excited for all of those cool Golgari cards. Little Halia from my opponent. Pretty nice with the ooze. Okay. Broken Light. Cooking over here. Big Exemplar of Light. I took a risky bisky sort of line. Did not draw into a board wipe. Leonardo Cutting Edge. Gaining some life. More counters. It's a counter fest. Well, we can definitely beat this list. We can definitely beat this list. Just cross our fingers for a board wipe. It's that easy. Throw them up. Throw them high in the sky. One time. I never ask for a top deck board wipe, ever. Never in my life. Outcaster Greenblade. Yeah, I think I'm dead. Okay. On to game 2. We can definitely beat this matchup, though. Let's go ahead. Bring in extra board wipes. I like a Deceit as sort of a catch-all answer here. A way to bop their creatures back without triggering the ooze again, maybe. And then... I don't know. I think we have a pretty good matchup otherwise. Do we need Desist to clean up the ooze? You know what? Actually, a couple Desist could be good because they're on, like, some number of Aang's Iceberg, it seems. Enchantment-based removal. Being able to Desist to clean up not only the ooze and its mutagen tokens and, like, a couple... Like, say we snag a Seam Rip and an Aang's Iceberg, that all could play pretty nicely, I think. Plus, it just cycles. What do we go down? Maybe we just go down on Esper Origins. Go down on the Winter Night Stories. It's possible that they bring in some kind of graveyard hate against us, just seeing that we're on Sultai. Okay, maybe we don't care about the Deceit that much. We'll just go to one Cease Desist. Try it like that. Jay Sather asks, are there any green cats in Standard? Mutable Explorer. On the play. Pretty good hand. Pretty good hand. Land drops, interaction. I mean, what more could you ask for here, really? What more could you ask for? Opponent leads on a Ley Line of Hope. Hit them with the Soured Springs. Do a ping. Wary Thespian, also a cat, yes, technically. Healer's Hawk. Lessons from Life is a pretty good top deck. Pays off this removal heavy hand. Halia. Okay. I might just kill off the Halia here. Leonin Vanguard. Yeah, I think I just kill off the Halia, right? It'll deny him a little extra life gain. Deny him a card. I think I feel pretty good about all of that. And then I could just untap and wipe these two creatures from the battlefield next turn if I wanted to. Draw into a Lush Oasis. I think I'm just going to ping them and pass here. If they want to trigger the Leonin Vanguard, they're going to have to commit another creature to the board. The ooze. I don't like that. I don't like that. The ooze is back. Bigger than ever. Okay, I'm going to go for the requiting hex here just to keep them off of extra oozes long term, extra mutagen tokens long term. And also I think it helps justify me ripping this Lessons from Life here. Land on top. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Draw into a deadly cover-up. That's pretty nice. Pretty far ahead right now. Both on cards in hand. Their board isn't too scary. We have enough, nearly enough evidence to collect for our deadly cover-up. Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's not going to happen this game. With the ooze ticking away. Another deadly cover-up. 3 deadly cover-ups, huh? I think I'm going to go for this now. Kill off their guys. And then maybe next turn I get to, like, Day of Black Sun for 1 if they put out more dorks. And play a Free Strider Lookout if I draw an untapped land. Essence Chandler. Cracks a mutagen. Probably going to exile my deadly cover-up here. Okay. Just a casual 4 board wipes in hand. Don't sweat it. Go for the Free Strider Lookout. I think I'm just going to rip the... I guess I can Bitter Triumph at instant speed. Let's just pass here. If they go to crack a mutagen, that's probably the best time to do it. Aang's Iceberg. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of nice little nuggets hidden away under my potential cease-desist draw. Kill off their Chandler. I mean, the ooze is letting them grind forever, basically. Which is kind of annoying. We're in prime position for good top decks. We have infinite removal. It's just a matter of, can they grind us out with fish plus ooze? With fish plus mutagen tokens is the question. Hey, that's Spinewood's Armadillo. Okay. Well, that's a way to win the game. I won't complain about that too much. And we can do kind of a one-sided board wipe with the Day Black Sun now, since this is so big and expensive and handsome. And they're not going to be able to kill it anytime soon, because they have 3 mana, and this has a whopping ward 3. Feels like a pretty good response to all of this. Capitalizing on the fact that we're so ahead on mana. Hinterland Sanctifier. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Starts cracking the mutagens. It is a big bunny. Big bunny pretty quickly. Outcaster Greenblade. Another dope draw. Huge, in fact. Biggest Greenblade you've ever seen. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Let's just grab a Conduit Pylons here. I don't think the Verge is that important. Do a little surveilling. Bonnie Paul on top. Yep. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Hitch it for 7. It's all coming up, Eric. It's finally coming up. It's finally coming up, Eric. Why is a damn armadillo a 7/7 unless those cacti are the size of buildings? It's got to be my impression. I think the implication here is that this is fucking huge. I mean, look at how little those birds are. The cacti have to be the size of buildings, right? I'd say we got this one in the bag, gang. I'd say we got this one in the bag. Hinterland Sanctifier. I guess I just Bitter Triumph the... Sorry, Essence Channeler. I guess I just Bitter Triumph the Sanctifier here. I think I'm allowed to discard a Deadly Cover-Up. Flex on him a little bit. Essence Chandler. Go for Big Bonnie. They're not just dead if I one-sided board wipe. They don't have to block this, but hard to imagine them winning, really. Maybe I draw into a desert and force them to block. Draw into a Restless Cottage. Okay. Not going to complain about that. Are you going to go to 1? That's the question. Kind of surprised that they're not electing to go to 1. They're not in this game if they give out the Chandler. They're just not in this game anymore unless they have like main deck Day of Judgments, right? But even if they do have a Day of Judgment, we have the Cottage. I don't know. And by main deck Day of Judgment, I just mean in the deck sideboard. We're in game 2. Up a match overall in this this run. 1-0 so far in this best of 3 standard event. Down a game in match 2. And they scoop it up. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely beat this. Maybe cease and desist is the play, though, as a way to give a sense of a little bit of finality to everything. Answer the board of mutagens, like really set them back to the Stone Age that way. Can we go down a land? I think we need to hit our land drops to be able to cast our big board wipes. Yeah, try it like that. Try it like that. Into game 3 here. Hey, I wanna bring something up, by the way, while I'm here. I don't know a good time to do it, so while we have this little bit of lull during sideboarding, I'm going to just throw it out there right now, and then maybe I'll explain a little more on Discord. But I'm gonna step away from posting as frequently as I have been. When I first started this channel, I made it a goal of mine to post every day, and it was a nice goal to actually like get stuff done and kind of get over the shyness and fear of like putting stuff out there. Just like keep uploading content. But you know, at the end of the day, I just do this for fun, and posting every day leads to a bit of, you know, it's a lot. Posting every day is a lot, especially with these like traditional standard events becoming a little more popular piece on my channel. They can take 2 hours to record, and that's a lot of time when I am just doing this for fun. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to throw that out there, let people know. I'll make maybe a small post about it on my channel as well, maybe in the Discord. But I think I have to put this back, unfortunately. This is much better, much less likely to die. Skip on the Bonnie. What is that going to look like ultimately? I don't know. Maybe I'm still gonna stream every week here on Fridays, 2 to 5. And I think I'm still gonna post like at least 2 to 3 times a week. But hopefully, what it'll mean for you and what it'll mean for me is essentially better quality videos and less pressure for me to post stuff that I don't believe is my best work. Which I think is going to be kind of a win for everyone. Opponent has authority of the consoles. Yeah, I don't care about that. Unless they're sneaking in a Leonardo here. That's fine. Depot says, could hold a Discord standard tournament at some point. Yeah, I'm not sure what that has to do with what I'm talking about right now, but definitely an option. Turd Gobbler says, yeah, dude, just post whenever you want. Every day is crazy. It is kind of crazy after all. But it was a fun experiment in the beginning. I had a pretty good stretch. Like over 100 videos. I don't know the exact count, but somewhere over 100 videos every day since I started. So it must have been 120, 130, somewhere in that ballpark. Pretty good run. But, you know, it has to come to an end at some point. I think it's pretty unsustainable, especially when in the beginning I wasn't streaming every Friday for 3 hours. Exemplar of Light. Pretty easily answered for us here. I think we can just afford to discard a desert. So, yeah, ultimately what I hope that means for everyone is that, like, when I post a video, it'll be of higher quality content, and you can have a little more confidence going into watching something that I'm not just scraping the bottom of the barrel. Another exemplar of light is pretty rough for us. Devin Fuller says, not gonna lie, gonna miss waking up to a new vid before work. Frowny face. But yeah, man, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It does add up. Well, we are top decking nothing but lands here. There's a Day of Black Sun. Man, a little punished for putting in the conduit pylons here. I would definitely have to keep it. I'm gonna swing in with the cottage. Exile your Exemplar of Light. I'm going to be able to, I think, survive the next couple of turns, but it is rough that, I don't know, the stretch of draws has been pretty rough. Hinterland Sanctifier. Okay. Gaining life off the Ruin Lurker bat. Gosh, folks, I don't know. This felt like a pretty winnable matchup, but drawing as many lands in a row as I just did, not quite sure about it. I actually think maybe I just have to rip the Day of Black Sun for like X equals 2 here and cross my fingers that I draw into another way to interact with this Exemplar at this point. Pretty sure that's all I got. They go up to 26 life. Yeah, I mean, I obviously have to rip this, right? It does suck that I'm not dealing with this Exemplar of Light, but cross my fingers, I guess. They draw into another Hinterland Sanctifier. They're not immediately gaining additional life, though. And now they are. And they hit the threshold to get the aura off of Leyline of Hope. Wow, that lined up really, really poorly. 1-1. I'm malding. Losing to mono white life gain. That's okay. I have respect. I liked their build, actually. The Ooze was a really interesting addition to everything going on there. Gave them quite a lot of longevity that mono white life gain builds don't typically have, especially with all of their creatures caring about counters to a certain degree. Being able to, like, you know, your huge ass Exemplar dies, and suddenly you can make your Healer's Hawk like a 5/5. That's pretty sweet. Depot says, man, you could have ate the food and cleared board with 3 mana with the new Strict Sweeper. Yo, real talk. I am super excited to stop casting Day of Black Suns and start casting the new life gain board wipe. I think it's going to be a pretty clean swap. We don't have a whole lot of ways to gain life in this list, but we have enough, I think. And you could definitely like switch stuff around to be able to make things a little easier. Oh, we had 5 mana. I think we could have done it for sure. Yeah, it's a totally sweet card though. Definitely gonna be tested in deserts to a certain degree. Even just like the baseline being spend 2 mana to cast an Esper Origins and then wipe the board, or crack a food and then wipe the board. But also having 3 mana, the 3 mana flexibility to have like an actual good answer to, is it prowess in the main that has a little more flexibility. Opponent casts a stock up. This could just be Teamer Harmonizer. There's a possibility I'm just dead next turn, right? Not guaranteed, though. Pre-sale price on that new board wipe is $25. Woo! Woo! That's pretty rough. Just jam another lookout here. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of what you got. They didn't go for it now. Kind of feels like they're not going to go for it. Conduit Pylons. Yeah, we'll skip on the Desert Stew only because I want to see more cards. Wow, we whiff on the second one. That's crazy. 6 cards deep, no land. Try to hit you for 3 here. See what you got going on. Well, I'm going to do the smart thing henceforth. Valley Flood Caller. Shout out Turd Gobbler. What do we got going on here? Flashes in a Storm Chaser's Talon. Uh-oh, buckle up. Yes, also Jay say there, the Charm. Yes, another nice key synergy going forth. Turd Gobbler says, if you wanted to keep posting every day, you can just split up the traditional standard events into a couple videos. 2-hour videos are too long to watch every day anyway. I agree. I agree. No, I don't know. I think I'd rather just present the full video and let people split it up on their own, you know? I guess I just take this, right? They can just grow the Valley Flood Caller to kill my Lookout. Then Devi is happy. Then Devin is happy too, as well as the algorithm. What up, Sean Hansen? Thanks for stopping by. Hit you with the Festering Gulch. Do crimes. Do more crimes. I think I'm just going to go the damage route here rather than getting the Restless Cottage. Do more damage. Starting to add up. I don't know that there's a good reason to swing in here. Let's just pass. They're going to be able to untap and block. You know what? I guess I force some action by doing this, right? They just take it. Great. All right, pass it back. See what you got. Another Valley Flood Caller. Am I just dead, like guaranteed here? I guess I let this resolve. Another Storm Chaser's Talent. Maybe I go for a Requiting Hex here. Gain a little extra life. Curious to know what their last cards are here. I actually also think I go for a Bitter Triumph, but they could just Spell Snare my guy. Spell Snare by Triumph here. Let's skip on the Lush Oasis. If we want to ping land, we can get it off of the Green Blade. See if we can keep them from comboing off here, I guess. 1 mana available. We have enough mana to pay for a Spell Pierce. Bushwhack. Target creature you control fights. Okay. Bushwhack my Free Strider Lookout. That's pretty funny. So they're going to untap with an Otter and a Flood Caller, but is that going to be enough to actually kill me here? Phantom Balatro says, now your face is covering up if you're 1-0 or not. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't move to my other spot. Thank you for letting me know. Currently 0-0. Match 3 of this best of 3 standard event. Facing up against Teamer Valley Flood Caller. Sean Hansen says, oh, I forgot I was not logged into my Otter Jones account. Whoopsie. To prove it's me, I'll complain about there not being enough recorders in the deck. Parentheses, no matter what the deck is. And now we have your full government name, Sean Hansen. Just kidding. Turd Gobbler says, I hate watching you shit removal on those excellent Otters. Well, they deserved it. They know what they did. They know what they did. The Otters are getting big. The Otters are getting big. Boomerang Basics. We are currently 1-1. The first match was good. It was against like a Rakdos mid-range list using Bloodthirsty Conqueror as a top-end combo piece. We actually only beat them. We lost the first game, won the second game, and then they just left. And then the second match was against Mono White Life Gain, which I lost to. And it looked pretty good. We ranched them the second game, I think. But game 3... Oh, I'm just dead. Not that surprised, I guess. Game 3, they managed to have kind of a little bit of everything going on. Pretty good proactive board, and I honestly drew a lot of lands. Happens sometimes. But the cool thing about their build was that they were running the Ooze, which played really well. Actually gave them a lot of longevity. Against Otter combo, let's bring in a Deceit. Bring in... Surak's not that bad. Definitely want the Glenalendra's Answer. Uncounterable counter. What do you think about Sabsunen? Beefy Indestructible. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. Thank you for the question. It's maybe fine. It can block the turn it enters, right? That's pretty helpful. To be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of experience casting the card, but maybe it's worth testing. What do you think of Sabsunen? Do you think it's worth an include? Do we want the Day of Black Suns here? I think so. It has pretty good potential. Deadly Cover-Up also has some potential. Maybe we just want the 2. I think we go down Requiting Hexes, is my guess. Go down the Requiting Hexes. We want all of our removal to be able to hit the Valley Flood Callers, basically. Being able to clean up their little Prowess Otters is not that important, especially if we have the Day of Black Suns here. Do we actually just want the... Do we want the Deadly Cover-Ups? Cease to be able to manage their graveyard a little bit is maybe not that irrelevant with their Otter talents. Go down in Esper Origins, up another Cease. I think I like this. A good mix of ways to interact with their game plan. Cut all the Requiting Hexes might be a little rough, but I don't think we're winning the game where I just like 1-for-1 their Otter tokens. Mulligan this. Okay, this looks pretty good. Let's put back... Maybe we put back the Free Strider Lookout here. So we go like... Turn 3, cycle the Armadillo for untapped mana. And then we can either Day of Black Sun or Lessons from Life from that position. Maybe I just skip on the Armadillo. Let's go with this. Not the best hand in the world, but could be good depending on what their hand looks like. Winter Night Stories. Jay Sather says, Sabsunen can be good in control mirrors as a sideboard piece. As long as you can resolve it, it turns into a big problem for them if they don't have exile-based removal. True. True. Yeah, it seems right to me as a sideboard piece, as a sideboard option. I like it. Well, there's an untapped source. Maybe we just rip the... Yeah, I guess we hold the line here. Go for the Lush Oasis. Maybe pretend we have some kind of interaction. Plan to cycle this Armadillo pretty much no matter what. Storm Chaser's Talent. Oh, they're missing land drops. Okay, well, feeling pretty good about that personally. Let's grab maybe just another colored source. Another black source that we can put into play off of this Lessons from Life. Draw into another Armadillo. Okay. Let's skip on this Restless Cottage. Go for the Lessons from Life. Nice. Put the Soured Springs into play. Yeah, I think that's okay. I was going to say I could have put the Cottage into play and saved the Soured Springs for crime, but I think this is all right. Boomerang Basics on their Storm Chaser's Talent, desperately attempting to find additional mana, additional lands here. Phantom Balatro says, I prefer Leatherhead for the Sabsunen slot in sideboards. Cheaper and can nuke Lessons decks. Yeah, I've been pretty impressed by Leatherhead. I think that card's pretty solid. Jay Sather says, that new 4-mana counter that is only 2 for instants and sorceries looks like a nice sideboard card for control mirrors as well. Yeah, that card seems solid. Big agree on that front. Maybe I just rip the Deceit, take a peek at their hand, do a little crime in the meantime. I think that all seems pretty decent. Hold on to this Day of Black Sun. What you got going on in there? Get the Lookout rolling. Get some big mana rolling. Song of Totentons. Valley Floodcaller. Enduring Vitality. They kind of need the Enduring Vitality to really pop off, right? But at the same time, they have to play it at sorcery speed, and I can answer it with Day of Black Sun. I think I maybe just take the first Floodcaller. Keep them off of double Floodcaller shenanigans. I think that all seems okay. They also don't have green currently. That feels right to me. Could be wrong. Also in a position where I can just take them off of Flood Callers completely if I draw a Day of Black Sun, or sorry, a Deadly Cover-Up. Yeah, I'm curious to see how Secrets of Strixhaven really shakes up Standard, Jay Sather. Has a lot of potential. Let's rip the Winter Night Stories here. Maybe I just need to clean up their board. Draw into a Bonnie Paul. Draw into a Deadly Cover-Up. I could just do the thing where I take them off of Valley Flood Callers. Can they even win that game? Huh. Discard an Armadillo. Do crime. Do crime. Can they even win that game? I think I'm just going to go for the Day of Black Sun for 2 here. Start hitting them with the Lookout. Put some real pressure on. Turd Gobbler says, what a based opponent. I hope he melts you respectfully. Thank you for the respectfully. Thank you for taking my feelings into consideration. They're just poised to set up and try to get me here, right? Maybe I should have gone for the Deadly Cover-Up last turn. Because now they go Flood Caller, Boomerang Basics of the Storm Chaser's Talent, Storm Chaser's Talent, untap, cast the Vitality, try to go off. I guess I just ripped the Deadly Cover-Up here, huh? Alternatively, fire up the Restless Cottage. Seems pretty bad. Go for the Winter Night Stories first. I think that's a little better than hitting them for 3. Drawn to a Cease Desist and a Glenalendra's Answer. I like the Glenalendra's Answer here, actually. Keeps me from having to Deadly Cover-Up. I also like the Cease Desist to turn off their Storm Chaser's Talent. Hey. Okay. I can work with this. Let's just pass here. Let's just counter the Otter. Kind of shuts down their whole shit. Gives me a crime. Valley Flood Caller. Uncounterable Counterspell. Turd Gobbler says, Eric, you got to indiscriminately exile the Vitality. Okay. Well, I will if they play it. I will definitely Deadly Cover up the Vitality if they play it. I promise you this. If it's the last thing I do. Analyze the Pollen. Right. Maybe I should have been considerate of that. Good to remember for the next game. I think I just ripped the C's here. Do the crimes. Take the Boomerang Basics out of their graveyard here. Got a lot of information. Draw another Restless Cottage, or get another Restless Cottage on the field here with a Bitter Triumph in hand. Okay. With a Bitter Triumph. I think I just ripped the Deadly Cover-Up here, right? How are they supposed to beat that? Hit him for 4. Oh, wait. Oh, they exiled the... No! What am I doing? They exiled the Otter with the Collect Evidence. Fuck me. I mean, I'm still fine because I have the Bitter Triumph in hand. They can pick up the Otter, but we're chilling. That's a little annoying, to be honest with you. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would have just, like, gone for the throw. Oh, they saved the Valley Flood Caller. They're worried about my counter magic. Really? Okay, we're both making kind of mistakes, and they just scoop it up. Great. I mean, And I guess it all works out. That was kind of a weird game. What up, Hexmancer69? Welcome to the Sultai Desert stream. Currently 1-1 overall is our match record. Into the next game here. I think we keep things the same. Everything looked pretty good. Bonnie freaking Paul on stream. Sultai Deserts, baby. Bonnie freaking Paul. Opponent scoops at the mere sight of Bonnie Paul. Glenalenger's answer, good removal. I like it all. Snap keep. I like it all. A nice variety of answers here. What up, oh golly, Miss Molly? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Love you with all my heart. Rips a boomerang basic on the Storm Chaser's talent. Okay. Big otter board. Big otter board. Drawn to a deadly cover-up. Huh. Well, I definitely want Day of Black Sun next turn. It'd be nice to be able to do it this turn. Maybe I just cycle the Armadillo here for a swamp. Hold up the Desert Stew, just in case. I don't think they have the ability to do anything super crazy here. Bitter Triumph on top. Leave it in the deck, I suppose, but it's gonna have to be cycled away. I've kind of committed to that. Stock up. Okay. Rips the stock up, hits me for 4. Cycle the Armadillo here. Let's just grab our swamp. Do the safe thing. Bonnie freaking Paul. Showing up. I think this makes sense to me, right? Maybe I can do the greedy thing and postpone it another turn. I'm gonna do the greedy thing and postpone it another turn. I'm gonna grab an untapped blue source here so I can go Soured Springs next turn. I have untapped double blue 2 turns from now, or double black to wipe the board. Analyze the pollen. Going for a basic. That's a good sign for me. Grabs a basic. Passes. So now I just get to hold up removal. Draw into a Maelstrom Pulse. Now I just get to hold up removal. Like if they try to flash in the Otter here. I'm kind of chilling. I guess I start hitting them. Pass it back. They go for an opt. They opt to opt. This is a very tense moment. Shout out to all of my Mario Golf for the Nintendo GameCube enjoyers out there. The real ones know. Bushwhack. Kind of a weird setup for my opponent here. Spending a lot of time just kind of dirtling around. Really curious to know what their hand looks like. Next turn I'll have double blue to be able to Glenalenger's answer. An Otter. Restless Cottage. I could also think about just going for the Day of Black Sun for 0 here. Clean up these Otters, and then I'll have a Desert Stew for... a Desert Stew for Valley Flood Caller. That's not bad. Maybe they have like Spell Snare or Spell Pierce in hand. I kind of like the option of having like mana to Glenalenger's answer and Desert Stew next turn. If I opt to play this Restless Cottage tapped. I'm going to go for this. See if they care about this at all. Okay, great. I feel pretty good about this position. He says before walking into them comboing off with Song of Totentons. Them not having red mana available, though, makes me less afraid of the possibility of doing, like, busted rat combo stuff, right? I'm gonna go for the Desert Stew here. See if this is any good. Could have a Spell Snare. Or a Spell Pierce. Or anything of that variety. Boomerang basics to pick up the Flood Caller. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I definitely don't mind that at all. Now they're in a position where they're pretty unlikely to be able to actually outright kill me. No material on the board. Shocks in a breeding pool. Enduring Vitality. Fine. Could just go for the Deadly Cover-Up. I kind of feel like I'm fine to just hold up the Glenolandra's answer. In fact, if I play the Blooming Marsh tapped, I can still do it. Counter the Valley Flood Caller. Maybe they just untap and kill me? I don't know. I don't know. They didn't Spell Snare my... You know what? They don't have an answer to this Deadly Cover-Up. They don't have an answer to this. They would have used it on my my Desert Stew rather than picking up the Flood Caller, I think. I'm just going to do this before they have an opportunity to block. And we get a little Pixie at their hand, which is nice. Player Blooming Marsh tapped. Pass it to them. Pretty unlikely that they outright kill me here, but they can produce a decent board. Analyze the Pollen. Grabbing another basic, interestingly enough. Grabs a Mountain. Turd Gobbler says, that undoes the whole deck. Well played. I am mad at you, though. Well, don't be mad. Don't be like that, baby. I think it's going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. I could still lose, right? I mean, there are ways to lose from here, but I'm in a pretty good spot. I have to manage... Oh, they have the follow-up Song of Totentons. Am I dead, actually? They can cast... Wow. They can cast... Bounce off on the Storm Chaser's talent. Turd Gobbler, look what you've done. You willed this into existence. You willed this into existence. I mean, I don't know what I was supposed to do about that. I don't know what I was supposed to do about that. The Song of Totentons for 2. Into a little bounce off or boomerang basics action. Yeah, I guess that's how it goes sometimes. That's tough stuff. Well, 1 and 2. On to the next one. On to the next one. Turd Gobbler. You motherfucker. You brought this. You brought this evil on me, dude. I thought, man, I thought we kind of at least stabilized for a turn. Kind of crazy that they just pulled out the dub there. Mulligan this opener, pretty bad. Okay. I like it. Keep the double green blades. Am I German? I nailed Totentan's pronunciation. Technically, I think I'm German. Of German descent, German heritage. I'm just reading the word, you know? Little timeline color action from my opponent. Beating me down. Let's hold up this Desert Stew. Might just decide to clean this up or perhaps kill a Sephiroth. fabled soldier. If you're from the Midwest, most likely. Yeah, I am from the Midwest. Thank you for that. Swinging in with the Kohler. I guess killing it doesn't really do a whole lot for me other than buying me a turn, maybe. It kind of gums up their mana if I do this, though, right? Is it better actually to kill this in the end step? Because otherwise they warp it in and then can cast it fully for 2 next turn. I'm going to opt to save myself a little life here. Kill off the Kohler. Infestation Sage. Well, quite a few... put the Armadillo in our graveyard. Quite a few Day of Black Suns in our list is going to be actually really, really nice in this matchup, I believe. Grab... I think I just want Conduit Pylons here. We can go Lush Oasis next turn. Play another Green Blade. They can't really attack into me. Kind of big chillin'. Enduring Innocence. Now they can attack into me, I guess. Okay. I'll take it. It's just 2. What are you gonna do? Chump my Outcaster Greenblade with your Enduring Innocence? No. Interesting. Kinda thought they might. Go for another Greenblade. Oh yes, we're big, we're bold, we're beautiful. And we have a high degree of self-worth. Grab a Lush Oasis. Pass it back. Pass a Rooney. We're threatening to gain a lot of life with our Esper Origins and Armadillo situation. Also Bonnie Paul on the horizon. Umbral Caller Zealot. They can chump us forever, but we have a lot of really, really good top decks. Namely, Day of Black Sun. I guess Day of Black Sun's not a perfect top deck with the Umbral Caller Zealot now in the field. They can just sacrifice the Enduring Innocence to keep it around. But it's not bad. Answers their board. Turd Gobbler says, KK, I need a cigarette after that Flood Caller game. Cheers, guys. Thank you for the stream. Viewer battles win. Viewer battles win indeed. I don't know. Is that something people want? It's the first I'm hearing about it. Hit you with a Lush Oasis. I guess, you know what? I should probably just Hex the Umbral Caller Zealot. Takes away a lot of their flexibility here. I might as well Blight as well for a little extra life gain. Pretty good top deck for us. Swing on in. Also down for viewer battles. Sorry I didn't respond to your previous message, by the way, Jay Sather. I will right now. You know how you have deserts-based focus? I'm still mainly focused on brewing for planar over standard. I am definitely having way less fun with the current power and speed in standard. You may be onto something. You may be onto something. Standard's kind of crazy right now. Under Nacho says, fight me with the Desert's Mirror. Does that actually sound fun? I don't know. I'm not actually convinced that that would be a super fun time. Maybe. Maybe it's fun. I don't think Free Strider Lookout is the answer to our problems here. It could be fun. I'm actually really curious to know. I've never played a Desert's Mirror. Has anyone run across another Deserts deck while playing Deserts? I don't know what that would look like. Maybe it's fun. Just 2 big mid-range behemoths clashing. Outcaster Greenblade bouncing off of Outcaster Greenblade. Maybe it's just a test of who has the bigger Greenblade, ultimately. Double Voice of Victory board for my opponent. Let's go for Bonnie. Big Bonnie action. Drawn to this Bitter Triumph here. I do have we have one other thing on the schedule today, at the very least, which is Fuzzy Cow generously donated to see their deck played on stream. It is a Gruul biotech specialist list. Excited to get into it. unchanged from their original presentation. Have some thoughts, have some ideas for how to change it around, maybe make it a little more viable in the current standard. So that'll be at the very least the thing we do after this will be that. So if there's time in the end, and I have a little bit of a window before I have to go to F&M, maybe we could do some Sultai Deserts versus Sultai Deserts. Could be fun to see. Opponent has a Vengeful Blood Witch, running their guys into my Bonnie and Bo. I mean, it is a pretty crazy board, but this is not lethal with just one Drainer. Go for the blocks. If I active trees in your Green Blade, does the power change because I have no deserts? Yes. Yes. If you have no deserts, it just is a 1-2. Definitely happened in some matchups before where my burn opponent's like, haha, I have the win. Active treason, and then they're like, oh no, it's a 1-2. Yeah. It's a pretty funny result. Pretty funny result. Opponent is doing things, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, they're gaining a lot of life. We draw into a Sandstorm Verge. Oh, okay. So they're dead, right? I better Triumph the Blood Witch here. And then I keep, I guess, the Kohler from blocking. Doesn't really matter. Keep the Kohler from blocking. Swinging with everything. RIP in peace. Nice. Okay, pretty good game one for us. Didn't even need a board wipe. Didn't even need a board wipe. They just could not deal with the endless onslaught from the Outcaster Green Blades, beating in turn after turn. On to game two. Bring in more board wipes. Cease to answer the Enduring Innocences is probably pretty good too. Snipe them out of the graveyard. What do we cut? We're pretty well positioned for this matchup, to be honest with you. Maybe just card advantage is not that important here. Stick a Bonnie and eventually just win that way. Stick a Green Blade and eventually just win that way, to be honest. It's good enough. I think it's good enough. Day of Black Sun is the main reason to keep this hand. We can cycle the Armadillo, guarantee that we start hitting our land drops, and we draw untapped mana for turn 2, which is pretty huge. Lets us cycle the Armadillo for a Pylons, play a Green Blade. Another Day of Black Sun. Well, that's pretty good. Maybe I should have gone for a Bitter Triumph on the Voice of Victory there. Just get a little ahead early on. Halia. Guided by light. Servandum. Yeah, I probably should have gone for the Bitter Triumph there. Shuts down this kind of curve out. Feeling okay, though. Gaining some life. Gonna trigger their Servandum pretty nicely here. Cycle our Armadillo. Grab a Conduit Pylons. I think I'm gonna go like, maybe I go turn 2, turn 3, play the tapped Gulch and kill off the Voice of Victory here, just to get ahead of it. Could also just pass, draw into another Green Blade. Okay, well maybe I just play a Green Blade then. Put an Esper Origins in my graveyard is nice. Play another Green Blade, and then next turn I can grab another Conduit Pylons, and Day of Black Sun for 2. Wipe their whole board, basically. Untap with a Green Blade. 4 mana for my opponent. I'm pretty unlikely to be dead here, but we'll see how much they commit to the board. Ideally, they go for like 2 drops. There's a Zealot. Huge. Do you have another 2-drop? Swanging on in. Block the Voice of Victory, right? so that they don't sack the warrior pre-combat, or sorry, pre-damage to grow the Vondom. Sacrificing for some surveils here. Bing chillin'. 7/7 Vondom. They're going to be able to sacrifice the Vondom to save their, to blow up my green blade, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay with this result. Go for the Day of Black Sun. They can sacrifice the Vondom, blow up my green blade. Curious to know what their untapped mana is. Maybe it's just like a bitter triumph of their own. They just let this happen. Come on, man. You're better than that, Romulus Curries. They just let this happen, dude. Sacrifice the Vondom. No. Sacrifice the Vondom. Well, I think we got this one. Sothra the Super Void. I don't know if I've ever been impressed by this card. Oh my god. At the beginning of your end step, if a player controls no creatures, sacrifice Sothra, then put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with 2/1/1 counters on it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been impressed by that card, and today is not the day that I start being impressed by that card. Skip on these lands here. Jay Sather says, just make sure you give us fair warning for the viewer battle so I can brew up Bant Cats. Okay. I like the sound of that. Maybe we add a second stream day to do viewer battles on. That could be fun. That could be fun. Because I like the stream day where I play in a traditional standard event. I like this flow. I like this. I like this. I like this whole thing. This has been fun. I don't know if I would want to get in the way of that. Romulus, my man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. We'll take the dub, though. It's not good data, but it is good, clean fun. Let's grab an island here so we can cast Bonnie next turn. Do I just Dave Black Sun for 2 again? It'll kill off my Espermadoin. Maybe I just keep playing Green Blades. Can they even kill me from this position? The Onslaught. Hitcha. Pass it back. Nacho says, viewers brews versus streamer brews. I mean, I'm definitely down with that, folks. If you guys want to, I'm totally interested. I'm down with that. Just maybe I'll plan for a separate day, see what the turnout's like, see what it's like, see if we can get people committed. There does seem to be a pretty consistent audience on Fridays, so maybe this is the day for it. They raise the past, and it's not that good. We draw into a deadly cover-up. My Outcaster Greenblades get trample and 2/2. And I can Dave Blacksun here for 2 again. Wow, this has turned into a really weird game. This has turned into a really weird game. RIP in peace, my friend. Jay Sather says, we play the deserts lists and you play our creations. Okay. Maybe. Sounds like a lot of wild cards. Sounds like a lot of wild cards. 2-2 overall, folks. 2 match wins, 2 match losses. Can we round it out with a nice 3-2? Wouldn't be too upset about that. Recoup some gems in the process. Recoup some gems. Rip. Yeah, that was a weird game. Perhaps one of the weirdest games so far. Just a lot of like weird missteps from our opponent where they could have had advantages that they just kind of gave up, and they time walked themselves by giving up their guy there. Aqua Animus. Happy Friday, y'all. What up, dude? Hey, Aqua Animus. big shout out to you. Appreciate you a lot. I haven't forgotten. You gave me a really nice donation, and I'm pretty sure it was you. So if this is misguided or misplaced, you're going to get my thanks anyway. Really appreciate your support. Thank you for shelling out for little old me to be able to, I don't know. I believe you said it was for my travel fund for RC Cincinnati. So appreciate you a lot. And I'm glad you stopped by here. Thank you. We're just hopping into match number 5 of this Sultai Deserts run. 2-2 so far. Can we seal the deal with a nice 3-2? We'll keep this 6. This seems okay. Let's just put back the Maelstrom Pulse here. Jay say that you probably have all of the cards for Bant Cats though, right? Nah, probably have all of the cards for Bant Cats, yes. If the Bant Cats build is if it's Jungle Lions and Giant Growths, I think I do have those, yes. Appreciate you a lot, Aqua Animus. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Spyglass Siren entering play. A little Esper Ninja affair, perhaps. Let's just go ahead and hex this. Keep them off of a fast Kaito or a fast Ninja situation. We draw into Conduit Pylons. Not too upset about that. Let's get a blue source here. Maybe just a Soured Springs, double blue, double black. Or sorry, double black in our first blue pip. Hexmancer69 says, gotta get back to work. Love you, good luck. Love you too, Hexmancer69. Thanks for stopping by. So funny. Folks, by the way, for all of my all of the people joining us here now, I just wanted to add a note, something that I touched on a little earlier. I am going to be cutting back on my posting frequency, upload frequency. You know, I make these videos for fun and I stream for fun, and it's been a fun project since the beginning, but you know, just a fun project, right? And it's getting to be into a little bit of a place where it's becoming a chore, and it's taking up maybe too much of my time. And I want to continue uploading, videos, but I just want them to be something that I'm happy with, and that something that fits into my life outside of doing this, you know? And currently it's just becoming a little too much, where sometimes I sit down and I record a 2-hour video and it's not my best work and I'm not happy with it. I want a little more flexibility to upload videos that I think are worth looking at and worth watching, and I think ultimately it'll be good for everyone. If I cut back on the amount that I'm uploading, basically, is what it boils down to. So expect, at the very least, I'm not going to give a hard number and like lock myself into a specific schedule, but I'm still going to stream on Fridays. Every Friday, 2 to 5. I love the stream. I'm here. I'm going to be doing this. But 2 to 3 videos a week is probably where I'm going to cut back to be honest with you. Giving myself like an every other day buffer to just to have more time to brew is a big part of it. Have more time to weed out bad videos and be able to throw away the stinkers, basically, and only put out stuff that I'm kind of that I'm proud of. So that's my little additional bit for the people that weren't here to catch that the first time around. I'll make maybe a little post about it on my YouTube, but it's not a big deal. You'll still see the uploads when they're there. It's just going to be a little less frequency. Let's just go for the Maelstrom Pulse on these otters. Feel pretty good about that. They could answer this by like requiting hex one of their otters. Keep one around if they cared about that. Free starter lookout on top. Yeah, I don't mind that too much. Devin Fuller asks, planning any content at the RCs? Not RCAQ, Devin Fuller. RCs. Regional Championships, baby. I'm qualified. I'm qualled. I'm going. We're there. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I'll at the very least update everyone, like in my normal videos, but am I going to record myself vlogging? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Undecided. I don't think it'll be that exciting, and especially because it is going to be my first RC, my first big tournament in like a long time. Not since college. Probably like 10 years ago was my last really big tournament. Damn, I'm getting old. So I don't know. I don't know. RC vlog, please, says, oh golly, Miss Molly. It could be fun. It could be the move. It could be the move. I feel like we're doing pretty well in this game so far, huh, folks? Get our free starter lookout on the field. They have no clear answer to this green blade. Oh, okay, nowhere to run. Answers my lookout here. Oh, going to give a little reduction to my green blade. This is risky bisky. Wow, this is a risky bisky move. Go for the bitter triumph. Trigger the lookout here. Get another blue source for the Bonnie. Absolutely blow out my opponent. Bada bing, bada boom. Pass it. Aqua Animus says, you upload a lot. I usually put it on in the morning, but yeah, sometimes it's hard to catch them all. Yeah, I want people to have a little more confidence going into my videos, like, especially if it's a longer one, that it's worth watching, basically. I'm not saying that every upload I make going forward is going to be a slam dunk 5-0 run, you know what I mean? I'm still going to probably upload some 2-3 runs and 3-2 runs and 1-4 maybe, if I think the idea is good. But when it comes to something like Naya Deserts, like the video I uploaded yesterday, where it's 0-5, it's a bit of an untested idea, and it ultimately doesn't end up working for some pretty obvious reasons in retrospect, I feel like we're not learning a whole lot, and it's not worth that 2-hour investment on the viewer. I want my videos to have a little more, just videos that I can have more confidence in, and that I think are worth your time and worth my time, like going through the process of uploading, and I don't feel embarrassed about it. You know what I mean? The 0-5 run changes the man. It definitely does. It definitely does. So, Depot asks, what deck are you bringing? Sorry if you already said, just came back. To the RC Cincinnati, I'm undecided. You know, Strixhaven's coming out soon, gonna change the meta quite a lot. I committed pretty early on to bringing deserts, at the very least, to RC Cincinnati in some shape or form. I'm leaning Sultai right now, especially with the new cards from Strixhaven, looking like pretty good contenders to fit into this list, but I'm not exactly sure what the final 75 looks like quite yet, and I would be surprised if anyone knew what their final 75 looks like going into this. Playing against Esper Pixie, kind of just trounced them casually, huh? In game one there. Didn't really see a whole lot from them, but the Day of Black Suns look pretty good. Let's go down the deadly cover-ups, I think. Little Cosmic Grand Zenith action from our opponent as well. There's kind of an argument for the Surak. Maybe we actually want the deadly cover-ups too. All of this looks pretty good. Go down a land. Run it like this. Yeah. Good enough for me. So that's where I'm at, folks. That's my life. 2 to 3 times a week. It'll just give me more time to put out more polished decks rather than saying, like, make 3 changes to the deserts list. Does this work this time, you know? Some of my videos will still kind of be like that, just updating, like, what I'm working on the ladder and whatnot, but this is close to a good hand. It's slow. Curious to know if they have any hand rip. No threats. No green. But we can access green off of the conduit pylons. I like that we have an answer to Cosmic Grand Zenith in the hand, but it is a little delayed by not having green. This is much better. Let's just put back the Armadillo so we can turn 2 Esper Origins into turn 3 Green Blade. Lead on a cottage here. Draw into a requiting hex is nice. Desert's Dew on top. I mean, I do like the Desert's Dew on top. Gives us a way to answer a green or a Zenith. Skip on a Festering Gulch. How about Essence Scatter? Oh, Bant Cats. Okay. Now I'm back. You got me with Essence Scatter. That, you know what? maybe that's just what the list needed. Hit him with the Outcaster Greenblade. 3/4. Critical to play around the nowhere to run there. Let's grab a blue source. Actually, let's just grab a Soured Springs. We'll complete the trifecta here. Double black, double green, double blue. We won't be able to cast this Esper Origins, but I think that's okay. We can just hold up interaction and then have better mana long term. Pass it back. Also, maybe arguably could have just grabbed an untapped basic. But I think I'm doing okay. Spyglass Siren. Does not elect to pop the map. Possibly holding up like an Enduring Curiosity here. Huh. Alright, I'm going to go for the Hex number 1. Hex number 1. This lets me like hold up Desert Stew plus another Hex next turn. Oh, we draw another Green Blade. Ooh, baby. Well, you know I'm about that Green Blade life. It's a nice little 4/5. They can pick up their Momentum Breaker, possibly. I think I'm just going to grab an untapped source here. Rather than a desert. I don't think we need our Green Blade to be any bigger, especially because they're probably just going to kill it off here. Sun Pearl Kieran. I mean, this is all fine. Being on the 3 Esper Origins really makes this matchup, like, not so bad. We eventually just kind of grind them out. Breaker my Green Blade. Tapped Watery Grave. Yeah, try to kill off the Kieran here, I guess. Actually, it's probably better to play around another Kieran, right? Picking up this Kieran. Back and forth forever, just invalidating my removal. Yeah, let's try to avoid that scenario, I guess. Lessons from Life. Maybe I just rip this. Kind of like the sound of that. You got Spell Pierced in your deck? Festering Gulch into play. Lush Oasis into play. Jay Sather. It's not Bant Cats anymore then, Jay Sather. It's not Bant Cats anymore. I feel like Bant Cats is the reason to be in Bant Cats. Just being able to say Bant Cats, right? Map on the Kieran. Do I take the bait? Go for the Hex. I think so. At this point, why not? At the very least, I'm denying the map if they have another Kieran. Oh, they have nothing. Excellent. I love it when they have nothing. Flashback in Esper Origins. Oko the Ringleader. That's my freaking boy right there. That's my freaking guy right there. That's my dog right there. Go for the Winter Night Stories. Just do it all. Discard some lands. Play a Lush Oasis. Pass it back. Okay. Well, I think that's it, folks. Kind of seems like my opponent has absolutely nothing. Kind of feels like this is the window where we play everything in our deck, overwhelm them. They're over here playing little 2/2 pixies, and we got this buff twink. This buff twink gonna show up and ruin your whole day. We can actually do the really fun thing. Yeah, opponent holding 3 lands for sure. We can do the really fun thing where we make an elk off of Oko here. Copy my Free Strider Lookout. And then second main play this desert for double crime triggers. Doesn't come up too often, but it is something you can do. Open up your mana bigly. And then we have a Requiting Hex to kill off the Pixie to keep them from killing Oko on the backswing. Yeah, I don't think they can recover from this. Simply too far ahead, simply too many lands being nursed by my opponent here. Sacks the Momentum Breaker. What's that about? Tragic Trajectory on the Free Strider lookout. RIP in peace. Washboard abs over Lil Pixies. I hard agree. Look at this absolute beast of a man. Kills off my elk. Okay. It's just a handful of Tragic Trajectories. Yeah, we don't care about that. 3 and 2, folks. Pretty fun run. Got a little, I wouldn't say ranched by Mono White Life Gain, but we did lose to Mono White Life Gain. It was an interesting deck. What else did we lose to? Otter Combo. Yeah. Otter Combo pulled out the win. 3-2. Not bad. Not bad. Fun run. Love the deck. See what we open here. Any closing thoughts on this Sultai Deserts list / run before we hop into the next part of the stream? Do we like it? Rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Favorite Deserts brew so far? What's your favorite? Do you have a personal favorite? Let me know. One other angle I'm curious to try is 4 lessons from life and a lower curve. I don't exactly know what that would look like, but MVP still Greenblade question mark? I think so. I think it's like the reason to be in this list. Sean Hansen says rated 0 out of 10 recorders. Yeah, no recorders here. Recorder the Bonnie Paul ETB? I think it's pretty sweet too. It kind of makes you want to be on a lower curve, even though it's like a ramp piece. I could be wrong about that. I think it plays nicely with the top end Bonnies at the very least. Helps us skip from 4 to 6. Yeah, I like this list. It's super fun to me. Let's move on to the next thing, which is a viewer deck that I'm going to be playing, talking about, discussing. Huge shout out to Fuzzy Cow, who donated to see their Gruel Biotech list played on stream. This is what they've been running at FNM. They said they were feeling hot at FNM. They loved it, and then they brought it to the MTGA ladder, and it stopped working quite as well for them as they had hoped. So I'll bring this into at least a couple ranked matches, give some thoughts on it. I've been playing it a little off stream myself, so I have some thoughts going in. Namely, you know, they admitted like Ancient Adamantoise, maybe not the place to be, but there are some other choices here that I don't necessarily agree with, both in the main and side. So we'll be getting into that. Let's hop into a ranked match here real quick. Show it off a little bit, the main ideas. Woo, woo. What up, Fuzzy Cow? Thanks for stopping by. Glad you're here. Glad you're here for this. I'm excited to show off some changes that I have, some suggestions that I have prepared for you. But as we hop into it, first off, Gruel Biotech, an archetype near and dear to my heart. I have like at least 5 biotech specialist videos on the channel, I think. Big fan of the card. Tried to make it work in the past with I can't remember the name of the card. The 7 mana Brass's Bounty. The 7 mana sorcery that makes treasures. Played it in a vehicle shell in Gruel. Which I always thought worked pretty nicely with like Chandra and Lumbering World Wagons. Gonna have to mulligan this hand, unfortunately. Edge Rover, but just 1 forest. Ancient Adamantoise chillin'. Okay, this is better. This is better. Mana's a little rough here still, but I think it's probably worth holding on to this year, just in case we do draw a red source. Play our forest here. Opponent leads on a starting town. First off, I like the inclusion of the ooze here. I think at least one ooze makes sense, probably. It's just solid main deck graveyard hate. I don't know that I would play more than one, personally. It does synergize nicely with the list, but it's slow, and if we play one, we're never going to run into the situation where the legend rule is a problem. Just a small consideration, perhaps. Opponent leads on a Cryogen Relic. Could be the Jeskai Artifacts list. Mutagen Man is a huge upgrade for these biotech specialist lists, though. We're on 3 on this list, and I think that's pretty much the right call. I don't know that you would want to play 4, just because it is a legendary creature, and ideally we're casting this for big mana. But at the same time, it is kind of the best thing to be doing with biotech specialist. I think that is like solid lock-in true, for sure. There are little like things on the periphery that I don't necessarily 100% agree with. Under Nacho says, whoa. Says, we have a 3-0 F&M with Jund Desert, said the Discord. Was it Dan? Dan went 3-0? His list was spicy, dude. Thank you for the update. There's some cards on the periphery that I don't necessarily agree with, but, you know, this is coming from Fuzzy Cow's, like, local meta, adjusted probably for their local meta. A couple main deck Dauntless Scrapbot. It's okay. You see this sometimes in as like a one-of main deck in the Nature's Rhythm lists occasionally, and I think it kind of makes sense there, but it's pretty likely to be unimpactful in the main deck here, I think, just because it enters sometimes. Yes, if you do run into like the Spelementals lists, being able to manage their graveyard is pretty nice, but at the end of the day, it's a 3-mana 3/1. The lander tokens are pretty slow generally. I personally, if I were to play this card, I would at least have it in the sideboard. Opponent has a Simulacrum Synthesizer on the field. We could go for a Mutagen Man. That's probably just the most aggressive thing we could be doing to actually like keep us in the game. Alternatively, we could go for a Goldvein Hydra and start beating them down. Maybe we pass and like with more maps on the field, the Mutagen Man gets a little better in the future. I actually do kind of think I like the Goldvein Hydra idea. Maximum pressure here. Shout out to Dan. Getting a nice 3-0 with Jund Deserts. Hell yeah. Covert Go Blue loves the Scrapbot in the main? And in what context? They rip a Torch the tower. Okay, that's not ideal. Kills off the Goldvein Hydra, exiled. Hits it for 3. It's okay. I think it's, you know, obviously it's good if your opponent cares about their graveyard, but not every deck in Standard is that the truth. And, I don't know, just like imagine casting this on turn 3 against like the Simic or Boroi decks. That doesn't exactly make sense to me, as far as like the meta we're in, or the Selesnya or Boroi decks, whatever the newest flavor is. The main in control decks. Okay, in control, maybe I could see that. You could justify that a little bit just to help clean up your opponent's graveyard. That makes sense to me. And in a slower deck, being able to actually like make use of the lander, I think that makes sense to me too. Opponent is kind of on the field a little bit, but they're not really popping off. Arena never beating the allegations. A little brutal matchup for this list, I feel. This could be brutal. The one nice thing about this list these days, though, Devin Fowler, is this combination Mutagen Man plus Biotech Specialist leads to just, like, absurd combo kills. And it's kind of the reason to be playing the deck, I think. Let me take a second to analyze what my opponent's up to here. Cryogen Relic. Seam Rip. Synthesizer on the field with weapons manufacturing. I mean, if they had like anything, they would have just ripped it, right? Started making golems. Maybe I just go for the Mutagen Man here. Pretty unlikely that they have meaningful interaction for the Sentinel. Typically, they're on that spring-loaded trap, spring-loaded Saw Blades, which plays well into the... So our Sentinel plays well into that. I think we can pretty much afford to start buffing it up here. Try to inflict maximum damage. Just go for the throat here, basically. Find our window. Edge Rover on top. I think we can skip on that. Swing on in. Crack our last map here. Blowing the load a little bit, but no promise of biotech specialists, so I think I'm okay with just jamming. They're going to cycle their Cryogen Relic, it looks like. This is definitely a winnable matchup with our sort of burn sub-plan. We did blow everything, but looks like it worked out. They scoop it up. I'm not sure also, by the way, now that we're here, I'm not sure that I'm a huge believer in the fire magics in the main in general. If you expect a lot of Visit Prowess, it's fine, but I actually think generally I'm more of a Pyroclasm believer. I think being able to use fire magic to answer your opponent's like turn 1 Llanowar Elves is fine. And obviously it gets really flexible late game, being able to do 3 damage to each creature for 6 mana. But if you think about the way like the Badgermole Cub lists curve out, I think it's more important just being able to answer, like, if you're on the draw, they go turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Badgermole Cub, or whatever. Being able to answer that with a Pyroclasm sooner than later, I think is more important than the flexibility of fire magic. Yeah, that was a weird game from our opponents there. Kind of weird game for our opponents. Let's bring in the Scrap Shooters. Bring in, not the Paw Patch formations. I think it's just the Scrap Shooters, I guess. Ice Cream Kitty. Personally, I'm not sure I'm a huge believer in this as a sideboard card. Pretty low impact, right? Slow. I think there are better ways to generate card advantage for this list. Like, if you just wanted to put, like, 2 more Fountain Ports in the sideboard, that would probably be better into control anyway, as, like, a grindy piece. You'd be bumping up your land count maybe a little unnecessarily, but just as an example of what is probably better, ultimately. Yeah, personally not a huge believer in the Ice Cream Kitty idea here. Post board, Ancient Adamantoids, I'm sorry, you gotta go. It's certainly a fun card, and the dream of ramping into this and casting it and like using it to survive against decks that care about your life total is like not a dumb dream by any stretch. Like, if you do resolve this against mono red, I think you win. But it's 8 mana, and we're not currently like a ramp deck. You know what I mean? We have ways to make lander tokens, but if we spend all of our mana and our time sacrificing the lander tokens, I think that's just a little too slow for the meta. Like, if we're just spending our time fairly ramping 2 mana at a time off of our lander tokens, there are some games where you may happen to do that, and you have a lot of mana on the field, but there are better cards that don't cost as much, that are just as good in as ways to close out games against bigger decks and as ways to stabilize the board against faster decks. Against our artifacts opponent here, I mean, this has got to go. This is pretty good. Just put back the fire magic. Not a whole lot of options that we had post board. Maybe it was worth cutting like the fire magics and whatnot. Scrapbot equals 2 Waterbend, says Depot1168. Okay. Rap about that. Turn 1 Edge Rover. Now, Edge Rover, Fuzzy Cow. Edge Rover is a card I believe in. I'll be honest with you. I've cast a lot of Edge Rover in my time, and I think it's pretty good. It's especially good if your opponent is on Slickshot Show-Offs. That seems like a pretty good reason to be on it, and also it's an early aggressive threat to start chipping away at our opponent's life total. I'm personally an Edge Rover believer. However, we are also in a standard where landfall decks are rampant, And I kind of feel like you can just take them out against landfall. It's a pretty bad card in that matchup. Otherwise, it's a little small potatoes. So for this list, I don't think it's actually egregious. I think it's fine. I personally might not play them in my ultimate list, but I actually think it's a fine option. You can do things in this sort of matchup like start pressuring your opponent's life total. Let's just plan to sacrifice this lander. And then sometimes that lander that it generates is kind of relevant. Yes, in this case, gives our opponent a lander is maybe not the best place to be. Perilous Snare coming down. They're generating really, really big constructs, which is a problem for us. If they didn't manage this biotech specialist, you can see how pretty quickly we're going to threaten quite a lot of damage with Mutagen Man. They're already at 9. Say they don't do this and we untap with another land, we make 2 mutagens, put them to 5, and then threaten their life total pretty quickly that way. Maybe I just double sear the construct here. Continue to beat in. I think that's what I got. They could have like a torch in hand to manage my edge rover, but I'm not winning the game where I just sit around and do nothing. Like they're winning the long game here for sure, you know what I mean? Seems like they're definitely going to torch my edge rover. Gold Vein Hydra falls into that other category though, similar to the Adamantoids. It's easy to believe in the it's easy to see the vision here, right? You're going to have a lot of mana sometimes. Sometimes it'll die and you make a lot of treasures and you sacrifice it and you biotech your opponent to death. And it is kind of good in this matchup, not going to lie. Like, it's good into control, so maybe a good sideboard option generally. But I've cast a lot of Gold Vein Hydra in my time too, and it is, let's go ahead and wait until we can cast this for 4, I think. It is pretty bad into, like, creature decks, other creature decks. Pretty bad into fast decks. It's good if you have a lot of mana to cast it big and kill your opponent with it, you know, kind of in like 2 or 3 hits, but you'd never really love casting this for anything smaller than a 4/4, I think. And as this deck is constructed right now, it's not really a ramp deck, you know what I mean? So I don't know that I'm a believer in the Gold Vein right now as it stands. Fuzzy Cow says, I think you're hoping for a formidable or biotech, then you can suicide your Hydra into it and combo next turn. Okay, true. I am concerned that they have a Torch the Tower though, and if I put this, if I play this even on 4 power, if I play this as a 4/4, they can like torch sacrificing a munitions token, kill off my Hydra and kill me that way, or exile it that way, keeping me off of the treasures. We draw into the ooze. It's not going to be enough here. We'll go for the Hydra. Plan to do a Chumperino and see if we can dodge a torch and dodge. We need to dodge a torch here and draw into a biotech specialist for all of this to work out, basically. What up, Moonella 1? Games are going pretty well. We had a 3-2 traditional standard event with Sultai Deserts. That was fun. And then now we're doing a viewer deck sort of review discussion playtest for Fuzzy Cow, playing their Gruul Biotech Specialist list. Aqua Animus says, off to FNM now, running Bant Value Wagon again tonight. So far it's 10-1 over the last 3 FNMs. Good luck in your matches. Appreciate you, dude. Good luck to you too. So we are dead here. Double beatdown from the constructs. Obviously, this isn't representative of the meta, right? It would be silly to like take away from this video that like you need to pack more artifact hate, but it wouldn't be unreasonable to have a couple of braids in this list, or maybe more versatile ways to deal with like non-creature permanents. Like Paw Patch Formation is good, but it does only hit enchantments. Might be worth considering wear downs instead, or something else that can manage artifacts, or Sears in the main over, or sorry, a Braids in the main over Sears, maybe just something like that. A little more versatility and flexibility. Let's do some real sideboarding this time. I don't know why I kind of chatted through sideboarding last time. Let's cut all the stuff that's like just not relevant in this matchup. Formidable Speaker, up the Legion Extruders. Ice Cream Kitty, get in here. Bring in a Paw Patch formation. I think we run it like this. Maximilian Custerer, which of your Desert Brews do you consider to be the strongest? Right now, I think I like Sultai the best. I think it's good. It's fun. It being fun also helps a lot, in my opinion. Pretty good hand here. A good sort of mid-rangey to aggressive curve out. A little light on mana for our tastes, but definitely not going to pass on this one. Devin says, I feel like this synthesizer deck disappeared for a bit and it's come back around. Yeah, I've been running into it more and more here and there. Authority of the Consuls from our opponent. We draw into a Thornspire Verge. Pretty nice draw for us here. Try to just do an aggressive curve out. And that is one of the advantages of playing this more mid-rangey style of biotech build, where you just have like pretty good mid-rangey 3-drop creatures, is sometimes you build up enough chip damage that like doing the fair thing with biotech specialist is enough damage to close out the game, where you're not reliant on that mutagen man sort of combo piece. I think that's pretty real. Let's go for the Sentinel. Continue swinging in. We'll save the Scrap Shooter for their Simulacrum Synthesizer and hope that we dodge a Day of Judgment. But I am excited to show off my suggestions after this, perhaps. Or maybe we'll do one more match with this list. Perilous Snare onto the Sentinel. Okay. Let's go for another specialist here. Although this is kind of bad into a Day of Judgment. Maybe I just go for Formidable Speaker into Mutagen Man here. And that way I'm not that dead to Day of Judgment. I still get to present a pretty good board. Or maybe I just start sacking tokens. Like, best case scenario, I sack this map and draw into a... like, hit my land drop here, I think, right? Gold Vein Hydra. Pretty bad into the Authority of the Consuls. I'm actually just going to keep the pressure up. These lists typically play some amount of Day of Judgment. We're threatening quite a lot of damage already. If I just go for the Lander sack here, put them to 7, and then probably kill them off of Specialist plus sack another Lander pretty soon here. Sack the Lander. Grab a Forest. Stomping Ground. They're like totally donezo, which is nice. I'm just trying to think of what's the safest route to do that. To me, it's Formidable Speaker into Mutagen Man. And then next turn I get to go hit them to 2. Kind of force them to board wipe, right? Did I say hit them 2-2? Hit them 4-2. They are gaining life off of their Authority of the Consuls here. Something to be mindful of. Let's just pass. Not play too much into the board wipe here. The damage from our little 2-power creatures is adding up. Formidable Speaker is a pretty interesting include, though, Fuzzy Cow. This is not a card I would have considered initially here, but it is maybe right to be on 1 or 2 because you're so reliant on Biotech Specialist once you build around it to actually, like, pay off your synergies. Definitely an interesting consideration. Not a hater. I am pro Formidable Speaker in this list because it helps us get this, like, critical 2-card combo more consistently. Sacrifice something for their Repurposing Bay here. Into another Perilous Snare. Exile the Formidable Speaker. Are they just dead here, though? I think they're definitely dead with a Forest draw. So go for the Biotech. This is the combo, folks. Biotech on the field. Mutagen Man. Now for every X, we get to deal 3 damage, basically. X is 2. 1/1 counter on the Edge Rover. 1/1 counter on the Edge Rover. Put them to a cool 4 and finish it off with the Edge Rover. Pretty good display. I like it. It is kind of just a question of like, do your removal pieces line up with what your opponent's doing in the meta, right? Because if you kind of paid attention to how that match went, when we had our more like removal centric draw, looked not ideal. Things just didn't line up, right? Things just didn't line up. So I'm really concerned about how heavy into the removal plan this list is, Fuzzy Cow, and maybe it makes sense in your meta, but I think it's a little too heavily invested in trying to attack what your opponent is doing and not leaning in and being confident enough with how good its own proactive game plan is, basically. We're trying to answer Graveyard with the Scrap Bots. We're trying to answer Go Wide with the Fire Magic. We're trying to answer little creatures with the Torches and bigger creatures with the Seers. And yes, obviously you want some amount of removal in your main, but really the best thing that you can be doing is like, I think you would pull off this Biotech Specialist Mutagen Man combo more often, for example, if you just had Llanowar Elves in the deck. You know what I mean? Like, if you were able to more consistently cast a turn 2 Formidable Speaker into turn 3, like, Specialist into Sack the Land or into turn 4 Big Mutagen Man, right? That alone is going to lead up to quite a lot more damage more consistently, and we're going to be less often caught with our pants down running into, like, off-meta stuff that doesn't care about our Fire Magics, doesn't care about our Torch of the Towers, our Seers, so on and so forth. I think Gruul right now is in a pretty tough place generally to be in that position to, like, play that attack the meta with the removal sort of side of things, because it doesn't line up even into like the meta lists that well. Namely, I'm thinking like, yes, all of this removal lines up nicely into Is It Prowess, but it doesn't line up very nicely into mono green landfall, because very quickly their creatures outgrow the Seers even, you know what I mean? Hello, Jacob Ireland. Are you the Jacob Ireland that I know in real life? What's up, brother? What are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here? Cowboy hat to you, brother. Anyway, caught off guard by that. Edge Rover, I like the Edge Rover tilt. I like that it feeds into the proactive side of things. Let me show you what I'm working on, and we'll pick your brain on that. So basically, my overall criticism of this list: not enough focus into the strong thing, a little loose, and like, what are we doing with all of this interaction that's maybe not that good? Sorry, my time to return to work. Let me show you the list real quick. If you wanted to stay Gruul, okay, you're gonna watch the VOD. Okay, then I'll keep talking as if you're here. If you wanted to stay Gruul, this is my recommendation. Jacob says, "Yeah, Papa, wanted to toss you a subscribe and say hello. Gotta run for class." All right. Stay frosty, dude. Stay safe out there. Don't skip class. Just eat ass. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Thanks for stopping by. I will see you later, brother. Fuzzy Cow says, "Thanks for the insights." Well, I got more insights, so buckle up on the VOD. Here's my recommendation as for a direction, as for like where to go in this standard, which is to say, really kind of a broad meta right now. I think this is going to have a bit more of teeth, more consistency in hitting our combo, and just better into a broader field, basically. First off, cut the extraneous stuff. The extraneous stuff being the Dauntless Scrap Bots, the main deck like Fire Magics, the Adamantoys, and lean into the fact that Biotech Specialist plus Mutagen Man actually really cares about having a lot of mana. It really cares about having a lot of mana, because the more mana you have, access to, the faster that this combo kills, right? say in a perfect world, in a vacuum, you have 10 mana available. You get to go 2 mana for the specialist, mutagen man for X equals 6. And if you have a creature on the field, you're just kind of killing your opponent at that point. So the more mana we have access to, the more potent specialist plus mutagen man becomes. Supporting that idea with 4 main deck Llanowar Elves and 4 main deck Ice-Till Explorer, along with Fabled Passages to do the big ramp thing, right? That all seems pretty good to me. Supporting this sort of more drawn-out plan, the idea of needing to get to a lot of mana to support this big sort of out-of-nowhere combo with Esper Origins, extra life gain, good dig, helps us surveil into the combo more frequently, and adding that double green on the second chapter lets you cast a bigger mutagen man more consistently and kind of just pop off that way. Still on the Sentinel plan, I think that's pretty good. Still on a good suite of main deck removal. You still have the Seers and the Torches, and in this case, the Pyroclasms. But the difference being that compared to the previous list, we're just more focused on attacking aggro decks in the main, and then we have more broad answers in the side, including Origin of Metal Bending, Keen-Eyed Curator to hit graveyards, extra Pyroclasms, and just I think in my opinion, just better answers for the meta. We can also afford to just place Sapling Nursery in our sideboard. We can also just afford to play Sapling Nursery in our sideboard. Pretty high forest count, right? Being on this Ice-Till plan, we're going to be able to pay off the Sapling Nursery if we need like alternate threats into grindier control-y matchups. I think this all looks pretty good to me. There's also this really cute angle, and I don't know that this is real, but I just wanted to show it off. You could maybe run a Scene of the Crime in your deck to be able to, with the Ice-Till online, sacrifice the Scene of the Crime to not only garner card advantage, but pay off a Biotech Specialist on the field. Main deck Legion Extruder, I think this card is pretty much good in almost every matchup. So rather than let's go back to the previous list. I think overall, in my opinion, just higher quality cards in this direction. Cutting the fluff. I think you could do a main deck Leatherhead. I think you could run some number of Formidable Speaker, and that might actually play well with the Esper Origins idea, being able to like discard Esper Origins and grab one of your combo pieces. That all seems pretty good to me. Just cutting the stuff that's going to be a little less consistently good. Kind of going more of a tried and true direction and a better way to actually get into positions where we can pay off having a lot of mana. And in this case, 24 lands, because we have a playset of Llanowar Elves. I think that all kind of works out okay. So that is solution. If you want to stay in Gruul, I think this is a pretty good direction to go. I tested it. I think it plays pretty nicely. The curve out is a little stronger, in my opinion. You're more likely to do the busted thing, basically, more often. Now let me show you one step further that I think is really, really spicy and fun. This is my Jund Biotech list. Basically, the idea here being swap out the red removal for black removal, which is better into like the green decks, basically. Being able to help us fight the green decks more consistently. The only red card in the main in this list is the Biotech Specialist, which if you think about it, it is a 2-drop, but it's not necessarily a card we have to cast on turn 2. In fact, it honestly just puts the Biotech Specialist in harm's way pretty frequently. If you just rip this on turn 2 and then you're left without a specialist, kind of your key way to combo off. Instead, opting to be in black, not only to have good removal for the scaling threats that exist in the format, Bitter Triumphs for Hydras that get out of hand, Requiting Hexes for Chocobos that get out of hand, so on and so forth, right? Day of Black Suns in the main to manage the green decks and the prowess up front. We also get some really cool additions to the proactive strategy here. Namely, Super Shredder, I think, is a really good card for this list. Another way to pay off the big mutagen man, mutagen-like boards, basically. If you go Super Shredder, you have this big-ass menace creature that's likely to get in and kill your opponent. Also, a playset of Obsessive Pursuit, a card I've been trying to make work for a long time, but I think kind of makes sense here. So we're an Ice Till Explorer deck, right? We're going to hopefully, ideally, get quite a lot of mana going. We can pay off the Obsessive Pursuit really easily in this list, not only with the Mutagen Mans and that reduction from its ability, but also just by sacrificing Fabled Passages over and over. I'm guessing a lot of people are familiar with this interaction, but Obsessive Pursuit doesn't ask you to sacrifice a non-land permanent, just permanents you sacrifice this turn, including your Fabled Passages. So if you have if you have the Obsessive Pursuit on the field, untap, play an Ice Till, pretty easy to get your like whatever your elf to attack and trigger and get counters and life gain off of that. Plus, making a lot of clues. The alternate side of this card really is just that it makes a lot of clues, right? Being able to not only pay off those clues with the extra mana from Ice Till, but be able to like get a nice discount on them, being able to spend 1 mana to sacrifice all of the clues that your Obsessive Pursuit made, makes actually like a really big difference, I think. Okay, all of that is to say, I think these are 2 pretty interesting directions to take it. Curious to know what you think about this Fuzzy Cow. I know they're pretty different looking lists. So if you wanted to stick in Gruul, I think this is a pretty interesting direction to go. Either way, they're Ice Till lists. That's just where my mind goes. I don't know that I'm a huge believer in Sentinel of the Nameless City in the meta generally right now. Pretty sure I dropped them in the Gruul build here. Yep. I don't know if that's wrong or right. It's going to be less material overall. Maybe something worth including in the sideboard ultimately, but honestly, these are just kind of drafts. I've played this list once on the ladder, and I think it's an interesting direction to go. It's definitely spicier, maybe a little less consistent, but I do think the possibility of it having higher like power spikes and it's much more synergy focused than the other like Gruul builds, which are just a little more good stuff. So let's run this adjusted Gruul Biotech build into a ranked match, and then maybe call it there. I think I'm encroaching on my F&M time here. Give you a little taste of what possibly another spin on the Gruul Biotech list could look like. There's my presentation. Curious to know what y'all think. Do we like the Jund build? Do we like Fuzzy Cow's original build? Do we like my Gruul build? Running 4 Ice Till in paper is daddy dollar behavior. I got my Ice Tills when they were like $10 each. I was ahead of the curve, baby. Gonna keep this. Pyroclasm Blind into a Grand. Not the worst place to be. Draw into a Specialist. And just lead on a Forest here, I guess. Swing in for 1. I'm probably just gonna Pyroclasm the Grand. Munello says all of them looked pretty reasonable, IMO. Okay. Yeah. I do think they all looked pretty reasonable. I don't... There were some individual card choices. I don't think you needed to change the strategy as much as I did going from Fuzzy Cow's list into this build. But were I to build the list as a Gruul Biotech build these days, I think this is a pretty interesting direction to go, I guess is what I would say. But Fuzzy Cow definitely had a pretty strong base for a build for sure. Hard to argue with that too much. I think I'm just going to play the Storm Soul here. I kind of feel like they would have countered the... Maybe they wouldn't have countered the Pyroclasm. Get the Storm Soul going. They could have a combustion technique and deal with it forever. And I'm a little sad about that. But at the very least, that should open up the way for my Ice Till to be relevant here. Elder abuse incoming. True. Swinging in. Discards a Boomerang Basics. Another Monument. Part 2. Wow, that's scary. Well, let's get going with our Fabled Passage. We can manage the Grand here. Grand and Monument, good game. I don't know. I think we're kind of chilling. We have our Ice Till online. We're in a position now where we're threatening a pretty big mutagen man if we manage to draw into one. Also in a position where we can maybe mill into an Esper Origins and get that going. Torch the Grand here. Take them off of the cost reduction. I don't think we're out of this game. Double Monument is rough, but might take them a little while to pay it off. Accumulate Wisdom. Doesn't look nearly as good without the Grand, but it's still pretty good. They drew into another Combustion Technique, but they're not triggering their monuments here. Okay. Esper Origins. Let's go for that. Skip on this garbage. Try to hit one of our mutagen mans. We're in the position where we have quite a lot of mana now. Try to pay it off here. They do have an Agna Kela. We drew into an Ice Till. That's pretty good. I'm just trying to set up that 1-2 punch, yo. Fires off the abandoned attachments, triggers their monuments. It is pretty good. Not gonna lie, maybe a reason to be on a Braids in the main somewhere. Storm Chaser's Talent. Artist Talent, okay. Well, maybe that's it. Boomerang Basics on their Storm Chaser's Talent, triggering the monuments here. Probably making some treasures. We're in it now. We're in it now, making some treasures. They can replay the Storm Chasers, trigger their monuments for damage this turn. They just pass. Another Biotech Specialist, kind of nice. Well, let's play to our outs here. I think it involves getting an Ice Till on the field. Maybe trying to mill into more. We do have the Scene of the Crime in the graveyard. Maybe trying to mill into another Esper Origins first. Thin the deck. It's kind of a little real at this point with how many basics we're able to pull. They had a pretty busted start, TBH. Yeah, they had a pretty good start. Doesn't always happen. Another Esper Origins. Okay. I'm genuinely... I think we can pull out a big crazy combo turn, though. Like, I don't think we're out of this. So we take 6 this turn, 6 next turn, 6 on my turn again, but I'm still alive, right? Unless they have a third monument, which is certainly a possibility. Go for Esper Origins. There is my mutagen man. The Living Ooze. We go up to a cool 22. I'm going to hit them for 4, or try to here. Does it make sense to kill off an Otter? Do I care about that? I guess I'll just go for a Biotech Specialist. The 3 toughness is pretty key into this matchup. They could counter this, but I do have another one. I think the upside of maybe getting this on the field is pretty good. Wench. Okay. Stay here for a little bit. Maxing and relaxing. Get my stuff together for F&M while my opponent combos off. See what goodies we got in the bag. How are you guys' trade binders looking these days? Poll in the chat. Do you bring a trade binder when you go to play at the store? I do personally, because I have a lot of garbage that I don't use. But a lot of people at my shop, they don't bring trade binders. And I'm always disappointed by that. Check it. You got your Cavern of Souls. You got your Kodama of the West Tree. You got your Bloodthirsty Conqueror. You got your top 8 promo for the Guide of Souls. But beyond that, the rest of my trade binder is absolute garbage. Some manifold mouse promos, and the rest is dollar rares. I'll be honest with you. Got this cool Godric promo. Remember when he was played in Standard for about a day? So that's what's going on in my trade binder. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Oh wait, 4 monuments on the field. Am I dead? I guess I'm just dead. Have they triggered any of these for damage yet? I'm actually literally 4 monuments is kind of crazy. You'd never see 4. Sometimes you see 3, but yeah, I don't play Commander. It's been a long time since I played Commander. I'll tell you the sad story real quick while my opponent continues to combo off. My friends and I were going to get together for a budget Commander night, which sounded fun. We all put together like $20 decks. We played for about half an hour, and we were all like, yeah, this isn't our cup of tea anymore. It's not very fun. And so we never played Commander again. And that's pretty much the story. Swinging in with a 6/6 Otter. Go ahead and block her. I am still just dead. I think. Gotta be. Basics on the Ice Till. That is pretty nice. I played a lot of Commander in college, though, Devin. A lot of Commander in college. Well, RIP in peace. It was a fun game. Surely they have something, right? Go for the biotech. This was close to being good. I thought it was pretty close to being good. Mutagen Man, X equals 4, deal 8 damage to my opponent. Had I untapped with the other biotech or probably any of my other creatures, could have been fine. Torch their Grand, and swing in for lethal, but you know what can you do? Sometimes you just get ranched by Is It Lessons. Bring in our interaction here. Let's go down the Pyroclasms, down the Seers. Let's go up the Curators, up the Cease. Not a bad Sentinel matchup. I think I like this. Maybe one case of the Crimson Pulse. Curious to try this out. Kind of seems like it would play nicely with Ice Till. Let's run it like this. Sean Hansen says, it has crossed my mind to try Standard Brawl. I don't really play Commander, and it'd be interesting to see it in a more limited card pool. I have had fun with Standard Brawl on the ladder in the past. Or just in MTGA in the past. While we're here and doing show and tell time, I'll show you my drip. My F&M drip. This is what I rock. I don't have a great angle here. There we go. It's a Bob Ross. Repping the Bob Ross. See the signature at the bottom. Oh. The Rossler. Got that from Gen Con last year. Got a mulligan this. Okay. Guess we put back the Esper Origins here. Pass it back. Love this play, Matt. Not a huge Bob Ross fan, but not a not fan either. I don't want to pretend to be a poser like I've seen all of. What was this show called again? I actually don't remember. Happy Little Trees, indeed. Drawn to a Forest. What was his show called? I don't remember. Painting with Bob Ross, something like that. Swinging in with the Grand, getting started early. No blocks. Soul Guide Lantern. I don't think we care about that too much. Drawn to a Mutagen Man. I like a little Mutagen Man action. Let's go for our Sentinel. Try to buff it out of Seer / Combustion Technique range, perhaps. Another Mutagen Man on top. I think that's actually okay. I don't think that's a bad draw. It's action. They're not that bad in multiples. Swings in with the Grand. RIP in peace. Our opponent's sending Grand to the home. The eternal resting place. Discards an artist talent. I mean, Grand plus Seer. I think I'm okay with that trade, right? If they want to go for the Seer here. Plays an island. Monument to Endurance. Wow, just gives up the Grand for nothing. Gives up the Grand for absolutely nothing. That's a little crazy, right? We don't really need double red, but might as well go for it. Mutagen Man for 3. Opponent's completely tapped out. Soul Guide Lantern may be a little weird. I don't think I want to go all in on any one guy here necessarily, but I think rather than popping counters onto the Mutagen Man, I think I'm going to go a little in on the Llanowar Elves here. Make it a 3/3, help it dodge the firebending lesson at the very least. I think this is a pretty good direction to go. Spread the love a little bit. Hit you for 5. They're going to have a hard time with this board, I think. Drawn to another forest. Not complaining about that. River Pyre Verge. We have enough mana to cast this Desist next turn. Combustion Technique on the Mutagen Man. Yeah, we don't care about that. In fact, we finally get to live the Desist dream. Thousands of years I've waited. Thousands of years I've suffered. In silence, no more. Watch our opponent scoop it up at instant speed. LMAO. This one's for you, Munello. This one's for you, dude. I heard you in the back talking shit about Desist the other day. I saw you there. This one's for you, dude. Take that. Take that. Well, I think we got this one. He says confidently. Desist has never gotten more value in all of MTG history. I don't think that's true, but it was a pretty good Desist. It was a pretty good Desist. Kind of keeps us in this one, huh? And they scoop it up. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I think we just run it back here. Do we actually want Sapling Nursery? That's kind of an interesting idea. Maybe. Run it back. It has been 3,000 years. Desist, finally. You haters. You Desist haters. Get I know I invited it a little bit, but get out of here. All right, pretty good hand here. Nice mix of lands and spells. We have an answer for a turn 1 Grand. Drawn to a Keen-Eyed Curator. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see your ugly face around here no more. Impressive showing from Desist. 100% win rate in the games that got used. Yeah, but the whole point is the flexibility. The whole point is the flexibility. Keen-Eyed Curator, go. Because it doesn't always have to be desist. Sometimes it gets to be cease, you know, and you just cycle it. And everything's cool. No worries. Swing in for 3 here. Hit him with the Esper Origins. Start putting some lands in the graveyard, I guess, for our Ice Till. It's all groovy. Opponent mulls to 5, which I think is pretty helpful, but yeah, I mean, I like this list. This is definitely something I would bring to FNM. Maybe not the best data, but a good chance to just kind of show everything off, I guess. I like that we're paying off big mana in a couple different ways. Having Esper Origins in the list gives us a little more potential to just grind in a way that I think the other list maybe was lacking a little bit in a more open meta. What can I say? I like the list, you know? Hit you for 3. Play nice still. Get going with it. Hold up red mana if we need it. Pass it back. I think our opponent is out of the game. Accumulate wisdom. It's the saddest thing you ever done saw. And they scoop it up. Great. All right, deck's perfect. Both decks are perfect. 100% win rate with both of the decks. So what else can really be said? Well, folks, that's been fun. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me for a few hours. Gonna wrap it up here. I will link the deck lists, both Fuzzy Cow's biotech list and my suggested changes into the Gruul version, and then the Jund biotech list in the Mox field. Check it out in the description for the stream. I think I'll probably do videos maybe on whichever version, I like in the future sometime as I continue to work on it and develop them. Just wanted to show off the drafts here. Good streamer. Thank you, Nacho. Appreciate ya. I'll mull around the idea of doing additional streams sometime during the week for viewer battles if people are interested. Yeah, wish me luck at FNM. That's pretty much all I have to say. Sultai Deserts, can we get another 4-0? Let's see. Appreciate you watching. I've been Eric. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the next one.